Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. Good God, are we excited today?
It's so great.
We couldn't be more excited for another edition of Crime and Sports. It's a beefy one.
Yeah.
Well, whenever it's a famous person, it's a lot because there's a lot of whenever they get famous and they're famous for 20 years.
Right.
Every goddamn thing they do that's stupid is publicized, and then I have to fucking find it, so it takes forever. So it's a thick one. So quickly, thank you guys for your reviews this week. Please, if you haven't done it yet, get on iTunes / Apple Podcasts, whatever. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. Really, really not the point. Just for business purposes, it helps drive us up the charts. So if you want to help the show, that's a good way to do it. Another good way to do it would be to go to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can buy all of our merchandise and all of that stuff, and t-shirts and mugs and bath mats and shower curtains and everything like that. You can get there.
One of these days, leggings.
The leggings too are coming as soon as we figure out we're trying.
God
the
damn
leggings,
it.
the file size and things that they say to upload, it doesn't work right. So
it's coming.
It's new for them too. So they're trying. Threadless, give them a break. We'll get it though. We'll get it. So you can buy all that stuff there. Also get your live show tickets January 25th in Seattle for Small Town Murder.
Yes.
And February 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida at the West Palm Improv.
Those tickets.
Get those tickets now. Please do that. Also, you want to be a bigger hero to the show. Our large group of producers who we'll talk about later on. That can be done.
People.
Amazing people. Our heroes. That can be done very easily. You can become one of those people over at patreon.com/crimeinsports, or go to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation. And you can find those links through shutupandgivememurder.com. So now that that's out of the way, Jimmy, good Lord, do we have a story tonight?
Great.
It's a juicy one and a thick one, and man, what a weird one.
I'm so hungry. That sounded like you were describing a hamburger
with a nice big steak.
A big cheeseburger.
Well, this is a Crime and Sports fillet right here.
Yeah?
This is a beautiful. Not even. You know what this is? Not a fillet, because a fillet doesn't even have any fat on it. People got to wrap bacon around it to get any goddamn flavor in it. A fillet on its own is fine for me, but I prefer a ribeye.
All right.
This is like a juicy, like 18-ounce marbled, beautiful
tomahawk.
With the fat seared perfectly, or it's that's what we have tonight.
Almost
right
caramelized gristle.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Let's get into our caramelized ribeye for tonight. That is Latrell Sprewell.
All right.
Oh, baby. Latrell Sprewell out there. And everybody out there listening, because this is somebody you've heard of, fucking listen to the people that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you've heard, just because you remember Latrell Sprewell playing a few times will not make the episode more enjoyable for you.
No.
I promise you, some of our best episodes that the people who listen to all of them like the most are people that you've never goddamn heard of.
Right.
Step outside and listen to a fucking story you don't already know. But you don't actually know this. This is like Tanya Harding. These are people who are famous for one giant incident, but around them, that's the wave, but there's so many ripples in the water around it. It's not even funny.
One of our ladies is his cousin. One of the ladies that listens to this show is
well,
Latrell's
hopefully she
cousin.
Won't be mad at us.
I'm sure she'll be jacked.
We're going
about
to be
this.
fair, because I like Latrell Sprewell as a player. Fuck, he was awesome, and he's a hard guy not to like on the court. He's just a guy that
left it all there.
He left it on the. He played hard. He's like 10th all time in minutes played in the NBA. Yeah, he played heavy minutes. He played defense.
Is that right?
Absolutely, he could do it all. He could do it all on the court. Let's talk about it. Latrell Fontaine Sprewell.
What a shit name.
That is amazing. Well, that is amazing. September 8th, 1970, he was birthed upon the world, we'll put it, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
His name sounds like either like an as seen on TV salesman.
That would be amazing.
Or
I'm Latrell Fontaine Sprewell for Pocket Fisherman.
For Mighty Putty.
You ever walking by a pond and you see just a giant 14-pound trout swim by and you go, darn it, if I only had my gear. Well, now you have your gear all the time. I'm Latrell Fontaine Sprewell for Pocket Fisherman. Oh, wow. What an amazing.
Did you just make that product up?
No, that's an old Ron Popeil product from the 90s that he used to. No, that's not something.
Or a jazz musician.
If I made that up, we'd be selling that tomorrow. I'd be like, that's a great idea. We're going to sell that, by the way. Nobody copyright 2019. So, oh man,
that's incredible.
That's something. So Latrell here, he's born in Milwaukee, which is the hometown of his mother Pamela. But he grows up in Flint, Michigan.
Okay,
his formative years are spent in Flint, Michigan.
Well, that makes sense now.
It makes more sense. When he was a kid there, they were pretty poor, and then he said, when he was a little kid, he noticed that all of a sudden they started having nice things around the house, and they weren't poor anymore. And he was like, what's going on? And he found out, it's because his dad sold weed. So his dad was like, fucking, you know what? Good for him. He was like, I got a family to support. Times are fucking hard. And, it's
at least it's just weed.
The 70s. He's like, I'm going to goddamn go out and make some money on the side for my goddamn family. So good for him.
And he spent it on the family. That's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Good for him, man. You got to take care of your
stuff.
Hey, you got to take care of your goddamn family.
Sometimes you make decisions.
Hey, you know what? It's better than having nothing, I would say. He's not out killing people. He's selling weed. It's fine.
Leave him alone.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
He's making people hungry.
Which was thought of as a horrible thing in the 70s to sell weed in Wisconsin, but now no one cares anymore. There's a lot of, it's
give
ridiculous.
it a decade. Somebody's going to make that city much worse.
Oh, Jesus. You know it. Yeah.
Dahmer's about to wreak havoc on your town.
It's weed is nothing. That's when they're going to go, let's overlook the weed. Let's look for people who might have other people, say, in their appliances at home. Let's look for those people. And never mind.
Or a vat of acid.
Never mind the Sprewells. Someone who's making a shrine to, dead children. Let's look for those people. So, he said, now there is not a ton known about for a famous guy like this. Usually these famous guys, we know everything about their childhood. But for Latrell, he's about as private a guy as you're going to find in this whole thing. He will tell the press things that are misleading so they don't know.
On purpose?
Even if it's not anything that he needs to hide. He just seems to be he on purpose was like, this is my private life and I'm not giving you a fucking inch.
A man
which I kind of admire. You know me, I'm kind of a private guy.
But a man played in the NBA in the 90s and wanted to have a private life.
Well, that's where things clash with Latrell. That's the thing about Latrell is he, if you take about 2 hours out of his entire life, he did wonderfully. It's just this 2 hours of his life and scattered out in different periods that really fuck it up for all of them. And there's a reason why we don't know a lot about his life, and we'll find it out here. He says, quote, I'm not into having people talking about what I was like as a kid or what I did way back then. That's one of those things I always knew I wouldn't like about being in the public eye. I never asked to be famous. So he said this at the All-Star game in 1994 while he was an All-Star.
The most famous part of his career.
Yeah. And the NBA was huge at that point.
A juggernaut.
Everybody watched the All-Star game and the dunk contest. I don't know anybody. If you went to school and you didn't watch the dunk contest, you couldn't talk to anybody all day because that's all the girls would talk about that. Everybody was talking about it.
That was the time that the NBA was its biggest.
That was huge.
There's no way it's anywhere near that right now. Even
no, it's not.
It's tough to be as big as they were then when you don't have fucking stars on every team.
You could go to a Bangladeshi village in 1996 and show a picture of Michael Jordan and the kids would fucking know who it was. Period.
They were shooting.
That tells you a lot.
Shooting baskets into a milk crate with some fucking. It was a bowling ball. They didn't give a shit.
I just don't see. I mean, I suppose they probably know LeBron, but I don't see Steph Curry.
Maybe.
And I don't even see that. If you showed them to Bangladeshi kids, they'd be like, I don't know.
Draymond Green's face is so forgettable.
So I mean, he's not as good as those guys either. So he's kind of a dick, as we've talked about before.
Another one. I mean,
he's not famous like those guys. Jordan, Barkley, like Larry Bird, like those guys were like iconic. They were Mount Rushmore kind of guys. Like their faces they're like cartoon characters.
Right.
You see them on those T-shirts with the big heads, the big caricature T-shirts.
Jimmy Butler, forgettable.
That's what I mean.
All these guys, Embiid, forgettable.
There's a lot of these. They're
great players.
Oh, terrific players. Yeah,
I know what they look like because I watch them.
Yeah, they're great.
If you don't watch the NBA every day,
it's not
you can't pick them out of a lineup.
Now I'm sure probably more people watch the NBA now because it's big in China now.
Right.
So I'm sure if you can add like 300 million, and that's like not much over there, and that'll push them over the top. But I feel like as far as cultural impact, the 90s was like if Jordan made a commercial where he did something. Right. That's what people, that was it. That was the thing. So it's just different now.
And that's the other point, too, is that, like, Mountain Dew doesn't use those people now. Pepsi doesn't use those people now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
LeBron.
You
shit
people
for
sounds
Sprite.
terrible. That sounds
they
horrible.
They don't use you people. They use fine, upstanding white folk now. What are you talking about?
I sound like a dickhead.
But
they don't use, like, athletes as much anymore. It's not, that's not the face of their brand anymore.
I don't know what I don't know.
Is it because of our fucking show? Because of what we're doing?
Maybe, but I think they do use them a lot. You see them everywhere. I think it's the athletes too are more like athletes get shit if they rep McDonald's now.
Yeah, I guess
like they get shit from people for you're poisoning kids. If you rep soda, I remember them giving LeBron shit for doing Sprite commercials. Because,
well, that is a good point. Now, as a company, you're resting your image on somebody who you don't know what the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then as an employee or as an athlete, you're resting your image on a company that you don't know what the fuck.
You're both entering. Oh, that's a total. It's like it's a Tinder date.
Yeah,
they have no idea where that person's been.
Exactly
what they have. What they're going to pass along to you, what kind of cultural STD they're going to give you.
It's crazy how much trust these these companies and these basketball athletes put in each other.
There's no other choice
just because of cash.
Yeah, there's no other choice. Well, if a basketball player goes out or whatever athlete goes out and murders 5 people, they don't really hold the product responsible for unless they use the product to do it.
Yeah,
like if Jared fucking stuffed a 6-incher up a bunch of kids' asses, Subway would have been way more injured by that. Whereas otherwise they were just like, "Phew, we don't know shit about that guy. I don't know. He was just a fat guy. We don't know anything about him."
If Larry Bird and Michael Jordan took turns beating their wives with Big Macs,
that would have been a different story. It would have looked bad at that point. But Jordan could gamble and and do all that shit.
Get arrested with hookers.
Jordan's not a good guy.
No,
he's really not.
He's a terrible person.
But he has the best PR.
He does
in basketball. If Latrell Sprewell had his PR, because Michael Jordan's punched people in practice.
Sure,
Latrell Sprewell we'll talk about had some issues in practice. There's not a lot of difference between the two men, except for Jordan is a better businessman.
Right,
that's all there is.
Well,
to
Jordan and Tiger Woods have mirror image fucking careers, and they're both the pinnacle of their sport.
Private lives, private. They don't talk about politics. They don't do any. They don't use their positions.
But Tiger Woods gets caught doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
Michael Jordan did all that shit.
He's Teflon,
multiple times.
But then also Michael Jordan, when he got caught doing all that shit, he was at the peak of his powers.
That's a good point.
Whereas Tiger was starting to fade.
Yeah.
So that's you're going to pile on. Whereas if you're on the upswing, you're Teflon, man.
Yeah, it's impossible.
So apparently during Latrell's sophomore year of high school, his father, Latosca Fields, is his dad's name.
That's his dad's name?
Latosca.
You have to be a tough motherfucker to have Latosca Fields.
Latosca. That sounds like a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
Latosca Fields.
I'm not picking on him.
Jimmie, man. Yo, I would watch out tonight. Latosca Fields is coming to fuck you up. You'd be like, Latosca Fields? Oh, shit.
How old is this guy? How far has he gotten through life with that name?
Wow, this is scary.
Because if he's 12, I'll take it.
And he's from Flint.
I'm not fucking with that man.
He's a tough motherfucker. Latosca from Flint. So during his sophomore year, now his parents broke up.
Question?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, you're getting there. Go on. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt this.
You think it might be coming in the story?
I'm just wondering why the fuck Latrell's got Sprewell while Dad's name is Fields.
His mom's name is Sprewell.
Oh.
And his parents had a contemptuous relationship, and they have. Yeah, we'll talk about this.
Okay.
He says that he stayed with his mom until just after his parents broke up when he was like 7, 8 years old. He said, but he would kind of stay back and forth forth between them. He said he stayed with his mother until just after 6th or 5th grade, and then he said he went to stay with his dad after that. So between 6th grade and 10th grade, he was with his dad exclusively, and then his dad got sent to jail for selling weed.
All right.
So he had to figure it out. So
Latasca Field sounds like the bad neighborhood of Flint. You know?
Yeah. Oh shit, that's Latasca Fields over there.
Don't go over there.
Where are you looking at a house? No, not Latasca Fields. No, don't get one there.
Stay the fuck out.
That and any of the adjacent neighborhoods around Latasca Fields. You don't want to fucking be in those.
Latrell Fontaine area.
That's a bad.
That shit's rough.
Latrell Fontaine sounds like it might be upscale. The Latrell Fontaine district sounds decent.
It's always the places that are nice they don't sound as ritzy.
No, that's true.
Just like apartment complexes. They call like these shit apartment complexes like Sierra Grande, and it's a piece of shit.
It's like white men can't jump.
What did they say?
It was Vista Views.
Yeah,
and she
same
said,
thing.
I don't see no Vista, and I don't see no motherfucking views in no Vista.
Which is,
ain't no views in no Vista either.
Vista
I was like,
views, isn't that the same word? Isn't Vista
sort of? I guess a view of a nice view is what, because I feel like a vista is more something you look at, not look through.
It's Spanish for view, isn't it?
I don't know what I'm talking about. What the hell do I know? I don't even speak Spanish. So he stays with his grandparents till the end of his sophomore year down in Flint, finishes out the school year, and then moves back to Milwaukee with his mother. Okay. His mother had moved back to Milwaukee. He ends up going back there for his junior year. He still, by the way, has not played any organized basketball.
Nothing?
Through his sophomore year of high school. Hasn't even played a CYO league.
That's crazy.
Nothing. No organized ball whatsoever.
I have no idea who he is.
Just playground ball. Wow. That's it. He's a play. Because, I mean, Jesus, if you've ever watched him, athletic doesn't begin to describe it. He's 6'5", 6'5", 190 to 200 pounds.
Chopped.
Wiry guy, but like ripped too, and fucking explosive. I mean, could jump like crazy, fast, and played with a certain vigor. He played with a moxie that was, you just have to admire, man. Yeah. So, but he hadn't played anything till this point. He goes to Washington High in Milwaukee, where it's crazy. He just doesn't play at all. And then in his senior year, doesn't play in his junior year either. Senior year, the coach, James Gordon, sees him walking around the halls and was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's 6'5", and he's not tripping over himself. Like, why aren't you playing? Do you not play basketball? And he's like, no, I like basketball. I play. He's like, why the fuck aren't you on my team or at least trying out for it? Yeah. What's happening here? So, he invited Sprewell to, try to join the team, try out, and he made the team, even though he was a senior already. Yeah. And has never played organized ball before, which isn't really done.
It's bananas.
Basketball is one of those things where you just, even if you can play the game, you need to know how to practice in basketball.
You gotta know how to run plays.
You gotta know how to run drills, and there's a certain verbiage to everything that you have to know. So you have to have played organized ball to know this shit, unless you're just a athletic, gifted person. And he actually was, because he ends up joining the team and averaging 28 points per game in his first organized basketball season in high school. Which is pretty intense. Yeah. I mean, that's how good he is. His coach here, Gordon, said, quote, what made him so good was his work ethic. If you suggested he work on free throws instead of dunking, he'd go straight to the free throw line. And that's kind of the way he is for a long time. This is a guy where you often hear, and I always get mad and think it's bullshit when people are like, they say, oh, well, we got the money and then now he's not doing shit. Because it's like, well, yeah, he got the money because someone else is making a lot more money. So he deserves the money.
He's getting paid that money based on scale and effort, and
based on what someone else is making off of him. That's the other thing. That money is there. So I don't know. I don't know. He's a guy that money actually does fucking ruin him. Yeah. Because he does the dumbest shit ever.
Like a dude from Flint, Michigan?
like a dude who has never seen a $10 bill before. Like, that's how he acts, and it's really stupid. Yeah. And you just don't want him to do it, because at heart, he seems like a decent guy, and that's what I guess maybe because I want to like him because I liked him a lot.
I loved him.
So
he was
hard.
So good.
Yeah. By the way, if you played any video game basketball in the 90s, Christ almighty, Latrell Sprewell was a monster.
Everything.
That early 90s Warriors team for
Hardaway, Mullen.
Hardaway, Sprewell, Mullen, Billy Owens, Chris Webber.
Billy Owens.
Power forward.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know
Number
who that
30.
is.
He was on their team for a while, until 94 when he got traded with Chris Webber
and
away.
Who was the center?
Chris Webber.
Yeah. That's right.
That was a squad to run with on a video game.
Yeah.
You would just crush people. So anyway, he also in 87, when he's in his senior year of high school, he starts dating a girl. Starts dating a young lady named Mitraline.
What the fuck?
Mitraline Morrow Macklin. I don't know which one of those is her married name.
Sounds
later,
like a fuel.
Mitraline. That's what Fontaine is selling.
Yeah.
The newest fuel, Mitraline. It runs cleaner, burns
It burns real hot.
Burns longer and cleaner than any fuel on the market today. Everybody. It's like a prospectus for investments. Everybody. Oh, Jesus Christ. So
Mitraline. That's a tough one.
Well, he, I don't know what he called her for short. Leany? Lean?
I don't know. I mean, his
Wheezy?
cousin will tell us. Yeah, there's a nickname.
There's a nickname.
She didn't go by that shit.
Everyone can call her Mitraline.
No.
That's a... No, that's
Mitzi?
not good.
I don't know.
That's Jesus Christ.
That's a tough one.
Sounds like a Fats Domino song.
Yeah, Mitraline.
Oh, Mitraline.
And he just says the name over and over again.
Mitraline. This is fucking. I don't fucking know.
Mitraline was the working title of that Pearl Jam song.
I believe it was.
Was that who sang that? I don't know.
I believe. Yeah. What are you talking about?
I don't know. The one that I can't think of the goddamn name of it right now. It's lean.
Glycerine.
That's the
Bush
word.
you're thinking of.
Bush. Yeah.
Glycerine.
Mind you, is about anal sex. That's very weird.
Well, he looks like everything he talks about is about anal sex. I feel like
it is Bush. You're right.
It's got to be.
I saw Eddie Vedder singing.
That's odd. He seems like everything he'd do would be about anal sex. Yet his name is Bush. Yeah. It's very wrong. So Sprewell, despite averaging 28 points a game, no Division I scholarship offers. No one's interested in him because it takes a couple years to get on the radar.
Yeah.
You can't just show up in your senior year unless you're like 7'2", or something. Some 6'5" guy that's pretty decent isn't going to show up enough to get recruiters out there. So he enrolls at Three Rivers Community College in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. It's these Three Rivers Community College Raiders.
That's where he went first.
Junior college, community college. You can call it junior if you want.
This is hilarious.
In
already.
88. Yeah, you had no idea about this, right? Three Rivers is a member of the NJCAA and the Midwest Community College Athletic Conference.
This is not impressive.
National Junior College Athletic Association.
Ouch.
It's founded in 38 to, I guess, give somewhere for spastics to play. I don't know what the fuck.
I mean, if that shit's on your dentist's wall, you're turning the fuck around.
Yeah, that's the truth. Right
you're not
there.
going to see somebody that went to this college.
No, apparently you need to get out of there for basketball too, as we'll talk about. May 15th, 88, while he is a freshman, a daughter is born. So that's a bad sign
already.
Right away. Yeah, he's 18. His daughter is born. Not even 17 at this point.
At community college.
Community college. Daughter Aquila.
What the fuck? Sprewell.
Aquilla.
That's Aquila.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now this
whole family's named like Outcast albums.
This is a wild. Everyone in this story. We'll get to it. Everyone in the story is crazy names. So. Junior college, he's there. Community, let's call it community college. It's in the title. If it's something community college, you can't call it a junior college. No. It's in the community college athletic league. Sorry. So apparently while he's there, freshman year, not only is Aquila born, but right after that, Sprewell and a number of his teammates are arrested.
What?
Okay, this is not exactly a grand caper here. See, when the reward is not worth the fucking embarrassment is when I don't understand. They're arrested for stealing batteries from a convenience store. Which, come on, man.
The swing at home needed batteries. That's what it is. It's for the baby swing.
A bunch of his team, well, it takes a lot of batteries. Yeah. That's probably why you get like 2 C. And they like a C cell or a D cell.
They're heavy.
Yeah, you need other people. You can't take out 10 of those at the same time.
You take 2.
Your pants will fall down. Right. Yeah. So they're arrested for that. He's suspended a little while for the shoplifting incident for several games. His coach here, Gene Bess, says, quote, "We suspended him for several games." So that's all he says about him. They say, by the way, in Three Rivers Community College on their website, Latrell Sprewell is their most famous alumnus.
I'm sure he is.
And their coach, Gene Bess, is the men's basketball coach, has the most wins of any junior college basketball coach.
Thanks to Latrell Sprewell.
Thanks to Latrell Sprewell. Now,
if you pause this story right now and you turn to the future and say this man's going to make it to the NBA,
doesn't look like
no fucking way.
It's one of those stories. It's like a Ron LaFleur.
Yeah.
Or if you took him at like 18 and he went, this guy's going to be in the major leagues, you'd be like, how? He's already in prison for years. How's he going to get out and be in the major? This is ridiculous.
He's got a mouth to feed. He's fucking up at school.
He's at community college. He's not even at real college where they let shit slide if you're good enough. Here they're like, well, he paid his tuition this month, so I guess we'll let him stay. I don't fucking know. Can't really suspend him. He's paying to be here. So, you know.
They have teachers that rely on his tuition.
Yeah, you can smoke in the classes there in 1989 still, probably. That's okay. Right. Now, to add a little more pressure, in 1990, they have another daughter.
Oh, my God.
So another daughter now, or he hasn't. This is with a different woman, I believe, because once he goes to college, him and Mitraline there go their separate ways. They will talk about an arrangement he has for child support right away, where he pays child support.
What the fuck could that be?
It's like $2,000 a month from then on, but then it stays that way while he's playing and everything, which is weird.
That's nice.
Which is good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
So so he has a daughter. So now Mitraline ended up going to a separate college and ended up marrying a guy down in Georgia.
Okay.
So totally separate deal there. This is another woman here who we'll get into. Don't worry. There's some run-ins here.
All right.
He has a daughter with her, so now he's 2 kids deep and enrolled in community college.
Fuck.
Yeah,
there's so many people with this story right now going, how the fuck do I get out of this?
Well, if you're gifted basketball player, you can end up going to the University of Alabama.
Is that where
on a scholarship? Wow. Yeah, so depending on how gifted you are, we can see how that works. He ends up going to Alabama, and he is teammates there with Robert Horry, which is pretty neat. So that's not a bad squad.
Is that the only guy?
Sprewell and Horry, anybody of that's big, yeah.
Okay.
But he goes to school with Robert Horry on that squad. Not too shabby.
Anybody else from Bama?
Yeah, Bama's it wasn't a huge powerhouse really back
basketball
then.
Anyway.
For football, obviously.
It's ridiculous.
So 90-91, he's his first year at Alabama, and here they go 23-10. Which isn't too shabby, and they go to the third round of the tournament too, which isn't bad. They're a number 4 seed in the Southeast. They defeat Murray State in the first round, 89-79. They beat Wake Forest in the second round, which is pretty decent. And 90 that was right before Tim Duncan got there, I think. No, it might have been right. No, Tim Duncan got there 94, 95.
Okay.
Never mind. Okay, so Wake Forest, and then they lose to the number 1 seed Arkansas, who was nasty back then, if I remember.
I can't think of anybody on that
team.
They
were fucking nasty. Didn't they win a national championship around this time? I believe.
I don't know if they did in basketball.
In basketball, they were a nasty squad in the early 90s. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody that ever played for them.
So 93-70, they lose that game, but he has a pretty good year. He plays in 33 games, starts 17 of them.
That's good.
26.2 minutes per game, which is pretty good in a 40-minute game. That's not bad. Not doing too shabby here. Point-wise, 8.9 points per game, 5 total rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 1.9 blocks per game. Also. So he gets up in people's shit on defense. He's not a passive guy.
Almost 2 a game.
Yeah, that's a lot of blocks for a 6'5" shooting guard. That's a lot.
Shooting guard?
Yeah, he's a 2. So that's a lot of blocks for a 2. I mean, that's getting up in people's shit and blocking some jump shots, which takes effort. And he's never for a lack of effort. That's the thing. And no one ever says, "Oh, he's a lazy fuck." That just doesn't. It's not him. Yeah. He's, if anything, he's overly vigilant.
Yeah,
we'll say. So 91, 92, he's still with Alabama, luckily for him. By the way, their coach is Wimp Sanderson.
No.
Wimp.
Oh.
The Whimper. I'm going to call him.
My God.
Wimp Sanderson.
Why would he do that to himself?
Southern college coaches have this. They're all flip or wimp or wink or clink or some horseshit bullshit.
The most pussy names ever.
Some small town coffee shop moniker that pisses me off. This is what they call me over at the Piggly Wiggly. And it's like, no, fuck, I know it's a grocery store.
Bum. Call yourself by your first name.
Bum. There you go.
Ridiculous.
Fucking bum. So anyway, Wimp Sanderson. Hopefully that's not his given name. Hopefully his parents were kinder than that. They go 26-9 this year, which ain't too shabby at all. They're number 5 seed in the Southwest. They beat Stanford in the first round of the tournament and then lose to North Carolina in the second round of the tournament. So, I mean, North Carolina is always a powerhouse.
They're always good.
No shame in that, I suppose. This year, he plays Latrell 35 games. He plays and starts 34 of them.
Okay.
So shit is different now. 36.2 minutes per game.
Jesus.
Dude is playing. 17.8 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.8 steals per game, which is a shitload.
Is it 2 20-minute halves in college?
Yeah.
Or is it 24?
Yeah, no, 2 20s. Yeah. And it's
he's sitting for 4 minutes a game. That's it.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's 1.8 steals, 0.7 blocks per game.
Okay,
so good, basically. Really nice numbers that you're impressed with. Everything here. So June 24th, that was a senior year. He's played 4 years now. June 24th, 1992 is the NBA draft.
Yes.
Which is hot shit, obviously. And God, they used to be so fun to watch back in the day. And this takes place June 24th, 1992. Like we said, it's in Portland, Oregon on TNT broadcast. And this is like a lot of 90s guys in this draft. Number 1 overall, Shaq. So, I mean, Shaquille O'Neal, if you don't know who Shaq is, that's another guy, household name. Everybody knows him. He was in movies and everything else.
He had music.
And rap albums and terrible rap and terrible movies.
Video games.
But he was in
Shaq Fu.
Everything. Number 2 overall, Alonzo Mourning.
Yes.
Not a bad choice for number 2 there. Christian Laettner, number 3.
Jesus, they really took big people.
Fresh off the dream team, too. I mean, he was, top guy. Jimmie Jackson, the guard, went to Dallas. Number 4, LaFonso Ellis to Denver. Number 5, Tom Gugliotta. The Googs, number 6. The worst.
To the Bullets, right?
Googs goes to the Bullets, absolutely. And he'll move around quite a bit.
So much.
Then you got a bunch of kind of second-tier guys. Todd Day, Clarence Witherspoon, Robert Horry, number 11. Harold Miner. Remember Harold Miner, who everybody thought was so great? And Baby Jordan. Yeah, he was a nasty motherfucker.
Did he go to Miami right away?
Harold Miner was drafted by Miami. Anthony Peeler, I remember, who was supposed to be good. He went to Missouri. Malik Sealy. Guys like that. A bunch of Doug Christie.
Dead guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Sealy's dead.
Yeah, Doug Christie, bunch of, like I said, these kind of Hubert Davis, Oliver Miller. We all remember him.
Do you want a story about him? It is the saddest fucking thing. That man didn't know shit. Oliver Miller. He knew how
to order dinner. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but that's about it. Oof. He didn't know how to evacuate. He stayed after the NBA. He stayed with a friend of mine, broke her toilet seat.
Jesus.
Didn't know how to fix it. He went to the store bought her a new toilet seat and just set it down on top of the toilet. He's like, that'll do it. And she's like, you got to install it. And he's like, I don't know how to do that shit. She's like, what am I supposed to do now?
At least he bought a new one.
That's sweet of him.
That was nice of him.
But he's a dope. Yeah. He's a big dummy.
I've heard that he's not the brightest guy in the world. Yeah, well, he is still drafted number 22 overall.
That's pretty impressive.
Good job, Suns. Yeah. Nice work here. So number 24 overall, though, for the Golden State Warriors, Latrell Sprewell is drafted. So now he's a first-round draft pick. So he end of his junior year, he's never put on a fucking uniform.
Yeah. And
then, 5 years later, he's drafted in the first round of the NBA, which is absolutely pretty fucking bonkers, honestly. Also in that draft, PJ Brown, Sean Rooks, guys like that. Like I said, a lot of second tier guys. Popeye Jones.
So many big dudes, too.
A lot of big guys that year. Yeah, that really was a lot of big guys and a lot of weak shooting guards.
Yeah.
Todd Day types and shit like that. A lot of, half-ass.
Bucks or Mavericks?
Bucks.
Yeah,
Todd Day. Did he go to the Mavericks first? Because I remember him on the Bucks.
I remember
he was on the game, the NBA Jam game. team. Todd Day was on the Bucks, and that's where he was drafted out of Arkansas. A lot of guys out of Arkansas that year. That must have been
the year they were dominant.
Well, look at this. They have Todd Day, number 8 overall, and then also back-to-back drafted 22 and 23 are Oliver Miller and Lee Mayberry.
Oliver Miller went to Arkansas,
and Lee Mayberry too. I remember. So they must have been nasty to have 3 first-round draft picks come off of that team, which makes sense that they would overrun them. So 92-93, Latrell is on the Golden State Warriors, and this is a fun squad. Like we said, Tim Hardaway and Mullen and Billy Owens, and Weber will come next year. He'll be drafted. Judd Bushler, remember him from those
deadly 3-point shooter.
No, he was a big guy. No, Bushler was 6'6". He wasn't a huge guy.
He was a 3-point shooter, wasn't he?
He wasn't a 3.
I remember.
He's a goofy white motherfucker, but he's not like a Hornacek. He looked.
I remember him being
bastard.
a shooter.
Not bad. He was a small forward, only because he wasn't big enough. Chris Gatling was on this team. Guys like that.
Great player.
Gatling
was big as shit.
Yeah, Gatling was a big dude, 6'10". He was a big, thick motherfucker, too. So that team, coached by Don Nelson, who always looks like somebody just robbed his house, and he's like, what the fuck? Why come home and nothing's here? What's going on? Why is this happening?
Every day.
And he looks like that because he's coaching a bad basketball team, I feel like, here. This year they finished 34-48.
That team finished 34-48?
Absolutely. These were bad teams, man.
Really?
These were bad teams. This leads to Don Nelson eventually getting fired and PJ Carlissimo coming in, and then problems there.
Okay.
So Don Nelson's kind of a player's coach that, from what I understand, lets them. He's a little looser with the guys than Carlissimo. They brought in as like an enforcer. Yeah. And we'll talk about that when we get there. He's kind of a hard ass. Also on this team, Greg Popovich is an assistant coach.
Really?
So, the longtime, many-titled coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
Who Dennis Rodman said horrible things about in his book. Dennis Rodman hates that man.
That's hilarious. A lot of people don't like Greg Popovich. He's one of those guys. He's like a Belichick where he's really good at his shit and he's kind of a dick. Yeah. And so Belichick, though, I want to hate him, but the fact that he dresses like a scumbag because he's not allowed to dress nice is hilarious, and I gotta like him for that.
He dresses like me on an airplane.
Yeah, he dresses like someone just picked him out of a dumpster because he wants to wear a suit, and he's not. The NFL banned that. You can only wear.
What is that about?
There's a bunch of guys that wanted to wear suits.
Is it because it's NFL gear?
They gave him shit about it. Oh, even back in the day, Hank Stram used to have a sport coat with a big Chiefs logo on it in the 60s, all his NFL films. But this, he wanted to wear a suit, and they wouldn't let him, and that was at one point they made the rule. So he goes, okay, but I can wear this. I can cut my sleeves off a sweatshirt and look homeless, and that's fine. No problems there, though. Okay, I'll show off how stupid the NFL is. I think that's awesome.
That is good.
I like it when people are pricks.
They buck the trends a little bit.
Yeah, which is why I like Sprewell, too. He's kind of a dick.
He is.
I like that. Those are the people I like usually.
He was mouthy.
Yeah.
He would start shit with everybody
My
he played
hero's
against.
Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah. Like, I like fucking malcontents. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So 92-93, he plays in 77 games for Golden State, which, I mean, they threw his ass right in the mix. Starts 69 games in his rookie season, so you can't get any more thrown in. He averages 15.4 a game, too, which is pretty goddamn good. 3.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.6 steals, so same amount of steals pretty much, in the NBA, and 0.7 blocks, too.
So he's repeating his numbers from college.
Exact replica.
Translating it to the NBA.
Yeah, a few less rebounds, but that's not his job as much. Right. You have big guys down low for that. College, you have less big guys. He makes $550,000 for his rookie year.
Not bad.
So not bad. Yeah. And for him, he comes from not a rich family by any stretch of the imagination. So this $550,000 means a lot to him and a lot to his family. And he's very generous with his family. That's the other thing. Buys his mom a house. Buys people. He's not a stingy guy or anything like that. He's generous with people that he should be generous to,
but
like his mom.
He doesn't buy 2 houses.
No. Well, he doesn't buy that now, but I mean, eventually he buys his mom a nice house and makes sure she's set up and all that shit. So that's character. That shows some sort of character. Now, 1993, 1994, Don Nelson's still the coach here. The team finishes 50-32.
That's better.
So that's a little bit better. Yeah. Not too shabby. They go to the playoffs this year, but unfortunately for them, they run into the Phoenix Suns in the first round, who swept them 3-0 because the Suns were coming off the loss year. to the Bulls, and they were pretty strong that year. That was the year Houston beat them in the playoffs, and then the Knicks,
Houston won,
and then John Starks could hit a fucking 3-pointer to save his goddamn fucking life. So Latrell makes the All-Star team though this year. So now he's a second-year player. 6 years ago, he never played basketball before. Now he's a fucking
crazy
all-star in the NBA. Amazing. Grace.
Really?
This is grace right here.
That's
we're going to say, because it starts to get weird after this. This is when he does things where like half the things that happen, you're like, huh?
Yeah. It gets weird.
Back up a little. What the fuck are you talking about now? It gets super weird. So it's at this point during this season that he gets in a scuffle with Byron Houston. Not Allen Houston, Byron Houston, who's a big motherfucker.
I'm trying to think of who
he's a
that guy
big
was.
down low power forward, and he's got 50 pounds on Sprewell, and he's a jacked motherfucker, basically. Don Nelson said, quote, "No one messed with Houston, but one day in practice, Spree punched Byron 3 times before Byron knew what was up. Everybody was stunned. He just snapped." So he's this quiet guy.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And then out of nowhere, he just starts punching the toughest guy on the team. I'm just going to work this guy over.
Prison mentality in the NBA?
It's
you can't do that.
Super weird.
Yeah.
It's just very strange. Well, not even prison. It's just he got mad at him for something.
Right, but he picked the biggest guy.
But he wasn't picking him because he was a big guy.
Okay.
He just picked him because he didn't pick him. He just got mad at him for something and didn't give a shit that he was enormous and he's on his own team and decided to jack him up a little bit.
Peppered him with punches.
Yeah, he did. And Don Nelson ended up getting between them, which is, if you've ever seen Don Nelson, is hilarious. He's always looked old.
Yeah.
Always looked like he's 75 years old, even when he was 46. And he's kind of an unathletic looking white man. He just doesn't look like a guy who should get in between two large athletes fighting.
He looks like every 6th grade PE coach you ever had.
Pretty much, except if you put a suit on him, put a tie on him, a loose tie waving around as he runs back and forth. So he gets in between him and ends up having his shirt ripped off.
Really?
Yeah, because he's in between them. They end up ripping the coach's shirt off in between. So now a shirtless, pudgy Don Nelson standing on the practice court.
Don Nelson with his coach tits are out. That's great.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, man.
So, I picture him without a shirt on, just like 7 curly hairs, and then just the saggiest fat
man. Come on, guys, come on. Waving his arms. He's very pink for some reason. Why are you pink? What's up with that? You're like a baby gerbil. You're like a little newborn gerbil. What's up with that, dude? Hairless and pink.
Why do you have so many nipples, Don?
Oh, it's so strange, Don. Get a few of those removed. I don't know. Pick the 2 you like most and keep them.
You got money, Don.
Get rid of the rest of them.
Get rid of those.
So he makes the All-Star game, like we said. At the All-Star game, we gave you a part of his quote about, I don't need people talking about when I was a kid and all that shit. He completes the thought here. He says, quote, "I don't think people need to know that much about my private life. I just want to be judged on what I do on the court." Mm-hmm. So fair. Yeah. I get it. I mean, you are in a public.
I remember when he said that, though, and he caught a lot of shit for that.
He did, because this was at the same time. This was the same time Barkley said, "I'm not a role model," and he said, "I don't need people in my private life." Right. This was a backlash to the. For a while, all these athletes wanted publicity, and then it became, holy fuck, I can't do anything without people being up my ass. Now it's like, hey, I don't have to be a good example for your fucking kids. That's not my job, all right? Like, to entertain you by shooting a 3-pointer, that's my job.
Right.
Otherwise, fuck off. So he was kind of riding that wave, I feel like, at that time.
Where do you stand on that? As a kid, though, you wanted to be in there, right? You wanted to know everything. It made me like them
so much more, though.
Did you?
Fuck yeah. My favorite player as a kid was Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
By far. I liked him so much more than Michael Jordan. Yeah, because Michael Jordan would give you some bullshit canned answer.
Yeah.
Well, I think that blah, 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 blah.
That's true.
And Charles Barkley would be like, man, that guy's an asshole. Fuck him. And I was like, yes. Thank you, Charles Barkley. That's who I like. I always like dicks. I like outspoken assholes. Because
I like people I could relate to. Like the smallest guy on the court was my favorite. That's my guy.
You're a big John Stockton fan.
No, I liked Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb. Those were my guys.
That's understandable.
Muggsy was fucking amazing. I loved watching him, and I stood on that stat of he had the lowest assist to turnover ratio every year.
Right,
he led the league in nothing except for that.
You couldn't steal from him.
No.
He was dribbling 3 inches from the ground. You couldn't steal the ball.
And he got
the
ball to. I mean, he had Alonzo Mourning and Del Curry.
They were a good team. Larry Johnson,
David Wingate. He had a good squad.
Oh, we'll do an episode about him, David Wingate. I always liked the asshole guy. I always liked the outspoken guy. I always liked the guy who would get shit for saying shit that needed to be said. Yeah. That was always always my guy. I always like that guy no matter what. That's why I like Barkley. Barkley was 6'4", and he was out rebounding centers, and I based on pure force of will and intimidation. And I feel like that's much like our podcasts have been forged on pure force of fucking will, and that's our style. I like that shit.
Yeah.
So 93-94, like we said, makes the All-Star game. 82 games played, starts all 82, so doesn't miss shit. Averages 43.1 minutes per game. By the way, college is fucking 2 20-minute halves, not 48. The NBA is 48. That's,
it is 220.
The college is 220s, NBA is 412s.
There we go.
And I knew that, and I don't know what my mind did.
Well, I didn't know either.
You fucking confused me, and then I didn't know what to say.
I knew the NBA was 48, but I had a feeling it was shorter in college.
But he averages 43.1 minutes a game, which
damn near
is
the whole thing.
Obscene. Nobody averages that. He 21 points per game, 4.9 total rebounds, 4.7 assists, 2.2 steals a game, and 0.9 blocks per game.
Oh, man.
Nasty as shit.
Yeah.
God damn it, was he good around
this time. And that's year 2.
That is year 2. He's also voted All-NBA first team and All-NBA defensive team.
I believe I had that card.
Nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just as good as they come and makes $700,000 for his efforts.
Now you're talking.
So they're getting a bargain, though, Golden State still for that. I mean, they're getting all-star caliber player. Now, October 94, things get really weird. From here on out, basketball is going to be completely secondary. That's why we spent a little bit of time on it, because now it's secondary. We'll run through his stats and get to the crazy shit. October 94, his daughter, his 4-year-old daughter, the one who was born in 90, not Aquila. Aquila's 87.
Okay.
This is
Second
Paige.
one. Got it.
Paige.
Oh! You knocked it out of the park with a good name.
The second mother was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
We're not putting any Q's in anybody's fucking name because no one knows how to spell it.
We're not naming her Paquilla.
But I like the Quilla. I'm sorry, we're not putting Quillas in. I get that you and your dad are both LAT, and you want Quilla to be the no. Paige is attacked by one of Sprewell's 4 pit bulls.
I remember this.
That he kept in his home in Hayward, California. She was living there with her mother and his longtime mother of many children of his, Candace Cabell is her name, because she'll come up. This girl's 4 years old, had one of her severe bites all over her face and eyes, had one of her ears completely severed by the dog, which was terrible. Greg Armis is the city's animal control unit director. He said, quote, "The girl's injuries were substantial. We don't know what was going on at the time she was bitten or even which dog attacked her." That was the initial statement. Sprewell told the paper that she was fine and just declined further comment.
Fuck away
She's
from
fine.
me.
Get the fuck away from me. She was at Children's Hospital in Oakland, and they also declined at the family's request to release any information on this. He didn't seem to be, everyone was like, whoa, he didn't have any reaction to this whatsoever. There was just no reaction. And for a couple months, he just never was like, that sucks. Teammates, everybody said that it's weird. It's like it never happened.
What the shit?
So he gets in an interview with a San Francisco Chronicle reporter, and the reporter says, quote, "It seems it would have to affect you in some way." He says, quote, "No, why should it?" This is what I mean about him, where he'll be contrary just to be contrary.
Okay.
He's like Donald Trump in a weird way, whereas if you said to Donald Trump, he could, whatever it is, you could say, I know for a fact you love Jewish people. He'd be like, I hate Jewish people. Even though obviously that's not what he wants to say, just to say the opposite of what you said, he can't agree with you. But it's one of those, it's that kind of personality.
But when it comes to your babies, I mean.
But that's how, to the point of it is, this reporter thinks I should be affected, so no, not affected. What do you think of that? I'm going to troll you, basically, in person, is what he does. And the guy says, because it was your daughter?
Yeah.
Because, Sprewell said, why should it? So Sprewell says, quote, "No, that stuff happens," which is crazy. The reporter says, quote, "But it doesn't always happen that close to home." So Sprewell said, quote, "People die every day." Maybe if it had been more serious, it would have affected me.
Thug.
People die every day.
That's some gangster shit.
Your kid got mauled by a pit bull, dude, and lost an ear.
Your kid damn near died.
Damn near.
Been worse.
Oh, it was a serious thing, yeah. And so the reporter said, quote, "Did you lose the dog?" Sprewell said, "No, I still got him. I kept him." But we'll find out that that's not even entirely true.
Really?
He just says that to get a rise out of this fucking guy. That's what I mean. It's all.
Well, he didn't get the rise out of that guy. He got the rise out of the public because I remember him saying,
that's
kept
the thing.
Fucking dog.
He doesn't realize that if he's got a beef with this one guy, it spreads bigger because it, like with PJ Carlissimo with the coach thing, it's just between me and the coach. No, it's everything.
We're
and
all
everybody.
watching, bro.
Yeah, and this is the same thing here. Like, he doesn't get that this reporter then disseminates this information to everyone else, and then everyone thinks he's a jerk, and he kind of gets off on it a little bit.
Really?
But at the same time, he doesn't want people to think he's a jerk. He just wants them to think he's a good basketball player and leave him the fuck alone. That's what he likes. It's super weird. But he said, no, I still got him. And the reporter said, even after that? And Sprewell said, it didn't matter. I don't know what the fuck that means.
What does then?
What could matter? Well, later on, he explains that he actually put the dog to sleep, to maul his daughter, but kept the other dogs.
Okay.
And he explained that they basically kept all 4 dogs for a period of 10 days, and then they asked Sprewell which ones did they want him to destroy the dog or whatever, and he said, I'll take the other 3 back and fucking put the one that mauled my daughter to sleep.
Right.
But he couldn't tell the reporter that, even though that already happened, because it just would have given the reporter something that he wanted.
Yeah.
Later he said, quote, and this is Latrell, quote, it was really serious, so I didn't want the media to just go to the hospital and trying to get cameras in all their faces. I thought that she just needed to be left alone because, she's scarred for life. So I just wanted the media to leave her alone at that point. Totally understandable.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Say that.
Right. That statement does not sound crazy.
Say, hey, look, you guys can be all up in my shit, but this is my daughter. She's not an NBA player.
She's a kid.
And so let's leave her alone. Right. And then then reporters will look like assholes for bothering
Absolutely.
the kid. So he didn't play it correctly.
No.
But I mean, the other fan too, he's a 24-year-old fucking kid who's never had to do this before.
Right.
He wasn't a star in college. He played in community college and then 2 years at Alabama where he wasn't even the star of the team.
Right.
So he doesn't have never been put in this position where people are all up in his shit asking about his private business.
Right.
So I guess it's understandable, but you have to figure it out. Hire PR people to teach you something, man. It's like you're making money now.
Yeah, 1.2. You're doing all right.
94-95. This is when the team's a real fucking mess.
Yeah.
The Warriors. Total mess. They trade Chris Webber. They trade Tim Hardaway.
Mullen's about to be retired.
It's a disaster here. Yeah. They finished 26-56 that year. Don Nelson is fired halfway through the season.
Halfway through?
Yeah, he's fired after 45 games. And then they bring in Bob Lanier, who's an old NBA center from the 60s, and don't take no shit off nobody. Yeah. But apparently it doesn't matter because Latrell still gives him a lot of shit. Okay. And Don Nelson, one of the reasons he was fired is because he didn't get along with Sprewell.
Really?
This is when Sprewell's personality starts really irking a lot of people around him.
Nelson went to Seattle after this.
He went all around. No, George Karl was in Seattle for a long time after that. Yeah.
Nelson, did he go to Denver?
Yeah, Carl and him in Milwaukee.
They just chased each other.
Carl was in Milwaukee. Yeah, it's a mess.
Coach Carl is essentially just Don Nelson minus the old face.
Yeah. He's like the anti-Jerry Sloan who just stayed in one place and aged. So 94-95, Latrell here. The team, like I said, not great, but Latrell makes the All-Star team again. Okay. Plays 69 games, 40.2 minutes per game, averages 20.6 points per game, which ain't too goddamn shabby. 3.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.7 blocks. He's a goddamn all-star. Yeah. He makes $890,000 that year.
Still a bargain.
He's a huge bargain far. They've gotten way more than that out of him. And he has a son that year as well. Because what the fuck? This is his 4th kid because he had another one in there somewhere.
Jesus.
He's got 4 kids now as a son. Now, he's an all-star. Yeah. He's got 4 kids. He's got adult issues, just not even issues, just adult responsibilities and adult everything like that. And then he does some stupid shit. On September 3rd, 1995, there's an officer of Fukuda, who's a Japanese gentleman. That's important in this story, by the way. That's the only reason why I said it. This officer says he pursued a speeding 1992 GMC Typhoon. Remember those?
Wow, he had one of those trucks?
A GMC Typhoon.
Wow.
That's way bigger than the
No, that's
Which one was that?
The Typhoon was the little. It's a fucking SUV, the little Blazer.
Oh, okay.
But it's the Blazer that's lowered and it's fast as shit.
Okay.
Those little trucks were fast.
Okay, well that's what he had, a 92
turboed V6, I think.
Oh, okay, they're probably expensive as shit too. If he was driving,
they're probably $50,000,
which back then was
like that. Yeah,
a lot of money for a car. Christ, I mean it's a lot of money now, but it was way more then. Well, apparently this 92 Typhoon was speeding, and so the officer ended up pursuing and losing it.
Okay.
So the Typhoon lost him, so it must be a fast car.
Yeah.
But he's driving around, and this officer Fukuda later spots the same vehicle double parked with the driver talking to somebody in another car.
Yeah.
So he rolls up on it, obviously. This is in Oakland, and the driver's Latrell Sprewell, and the officer's trying to do his job here. He finds out that Latrell has an outstanding warrant for driving with a suspended license.
Okay.
So this is a problem.
Yeah.
It's at this point, basically they say that Sprewell got out at the curb and first asked Fukuda if he knows who he is. First of all, you know who I am?
Right.
And he says, not a fucking clue.
Right.
No, not a basketball fan. So at this point, Latrell makes racial slurs to the cop.
Yep.
Which is not smart.
No.
If you're going to do one thing, don't make racial slurs to cops.
Not that guy.
They don't like it usually.
It's the wrong guy.
It's funny. You can make racial slurs to people, and most people don't have the power to really do anything about it except punch you in the face or whatever. There's physical retribution. But otherwise, it's pretty much just you're an asshole.
Right.
But this is a guy who can actually put you in jail if he feels like it.
He can
slap cuffs on you.
Yeah. You have
cost
clearly,
you money.
Right. You've already broken the law.
Yeah. You just told him you're famous, so he knows this will be in the paper. So you've given him leverage right away. So the whole thing is fucking weird.
And an Asian cop, and he's driving a vehicle called the Typhoon.
There's
so many things.
that this guy is not happy about with Latrell Sprewell about. So it's at this point, while this is all going on, he says to the officer, quote, "You can be shot real easy, and people get shot out here all the time."
No.
You can't say that to a cop
What are you doing?
who wants to arrest you for something. You can't say that to them. You can't make veiled threats of shootings after you've called somebody fucking racial slurs. You can't do that. I don't care
in Oakland
who you are. That's not going to go over well with anybody. So at this point, the officer doing his job tried to cuff Sprewell, and Sprewell would not let him cuff him. So he puts up a big struggle, and so this guy's the officer calls for backup, and a bunch of cops come and fucking cuff him and take him in because, like you said, you made like kind of a veiled death threat at a cop. It's not going to fly real well.
I picture him doing like spin moves and shit off other cars and
juking him and shit. How you like that crossover, motherfucker? Jumping up on the hood of a car. Pow. Like that vertical leap. I'm an all-star, baby. So
Come and get me.
He's released from jail after this, after posting more than $6,000 in bail, which is quite a bit, including he had to pay $956 for the warrant for driving with a suspended license. That was the fine for that he never paid. And he's also charged with impeding traffic and playing his car stereo too loud just to be dicks, because when you make racial slurs at a cop, they can go, well, your stereo's a little loud too. You know what? I can't quite make out your license plate. I think your bulb's a little dim in that light back there. That's a ticket too.
Your windows are a bit too dark.
Try to be cool and work with a cop a little if you can, if possible. Sometimes it's not possible. They want to fuck you up if it's an asshole cop. There's like an asshole anything. There's asshole everybody's
dicks,
out there. You can't do anything about it. But I think Fukuda here would have been cool with him if he wouldn't have been a dick.
Right.
If he wouldn't have said, you know who I am, fucking slanty. Like, you can't say that shit to a fucking police officer.
No. That's
not okay. So eventually, though, out of all this, the traffic charges are eventually dropped, and prosecutors decide against charging Sprewell with threatening an officer because the comments, quote, lacked credibility and immediacy as a righteous threat. I feel like if I did that, they would call it immediate.
Maybe.
I feel like I don't know. If I was, I'm not rich like Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, that's the point. Is that somebody probably made a couple of phone calls? Made this go away.
Now, it's at this point during the season that he gets in a fight with Jerome Kersey at practice.
Really?
You know Jerome Kersey, the guard?
Played for the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, at this point, he was on the Warriors here. They get into a fight in the locker room. Get into a fight, and apparently Sprewell, this is what he leaves and comes back. Okay. So this is always a bad sign.
Yeah.
They get in a scuffle. Teammates break them up.
What did he do?
He leaves, and he comes back with a 2x4.
Oh, Jesus.
A la Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No.
And starts fucking going after Kersey with a fucking 2x4.
Did he have pyrotechnics and music playing when he entered the
arena? I swear to God, he said, ho, and then he took a fucking swing at him. What is happening? So
what the shit?
He attacks Kersey with a 2x4. Yeah. Teammates get in the middle of it, and so there's never actually hits him with the 2x4. But he also says that I'll come back with a gun, motherfucker.
No.
So now he's like, I'll shoot you after I hit you with this 2x4. Because I'm done punching you.
Oh boy!
So shit has gone awry. Yeah, let's just say
it's
here.
Definitely accelerated.
The acceleration is big time. He's starting to get a little out of his mind here. 95, 96. Later on, they make up and they say, "Hey, water under the bridge. No worries. We're all good." Passion happens in sports. Okay.
A 2x4?
A 2x4. That's not in sports.
No.
I've never seen that. And other than Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I've never seen a 2x4 used in a sporting manner.
In any office setting, any coworker that comes at you with a 2x4, if it's not Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you're
worry
fired.
about it. Yeah. If it's
fired.
Hacksaw, you go, hey, that's great. That's why we hired that guy, because he walks around with that 2x4. Other than that, what the fuck? This is so weird, though, to attack a teammate with a goddamn 2x4. In basketball. It's not like there's even 2x4s in basketball. Right. It's not like they're lying around like, we can't get practice started without the 2x4s. Somebody go out and get the 2x4s.
Did he pull it from the floor? Like, how he went outside.
He went outside and was probably just laying around by a dumpster or something. He was like, I can hit a motherfucker with this. And then went back inside.
First thing he could grab.
So that shows a little bit of instability here. So 95, 96 Golden State. This year they're under coach Rick Adelman, who does not do much better. 36 and 46 this year. This is tough times for them. He is not an all-star this year. He plays in 78 games, starts all 78 games, 18.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.6 blocks. He could have been an all-star very easily. During that time period, man, those all-star teams were just loaded. I mean, you can only have like 12 guys, and there was 40 guys in the league who could have been all-stars easily.
And the game was competitive then. The all-star game was fun to watch.
There was no defense, but it was like 155, 153.
So fun to watch.
Everybody was an actual star. Yep. You knew who everybody was. It was fun. $975,000 he makes for that year. So he's not doing too badly. And for the bargain they've got for the last few years, they really have gotten a bargain in Golden State.
Barely paid him $3 million.
That's what I mean. Well, they decide to give him a nice contract and reward him with a 5-year, $36 million extension.
Whoa.
$36 million. So that's not too shabby at all.
I can't believe that.
Or 3-year, $36 million, I say.
That's so much.
I don't know my numbers today. That's a lot of money. 96, 97. Coach Rick Adelman again. They finished 30 and 52, the Warriors do. Again, a shit year for the team. But Latrell's on the All-Star team again. So 26 years old. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's got a big money contract. Yeah. This is good shit. I mean, this is good for him. Averages, he plays 80 games, starts 79, averages, by the way, 41.9 minutes per game. 24.2 points per game this year. He's the guy who went out and was like, I got to earn that money. Yeah. And he fucking did. 4.6 total rebounds, 6.3 assists.
He's doing it.
He brought his assists up 2 full assists per game. From 4.2 to 6.3, 1.7 steals, and 0.6 blocks.
He's creating plays as much as he's executing.
He's just great. All over the place.
Amazing player.
He's a great player, and he makes $7 million for his efforts. So not too shabby.
Wow.
Now, very private, like we said. It's at this point where he's really kind of been pissed off. Since the thing with his daughter and everything, he's gotten even more private.
Yeah.
And they say at this point, basically, all you know about him from this age, from this time in his private life, is that he is from the Golden State Media Guide.
Really?
And it says of him this year, quote, he likes jet skiing, the Dallas Cowboys, repairing stereo equipment, and eating his mother's spaghetti. He didn't play organized basketball until his senior year at Milwaukee's Washington High School. He has 2 daughters, 9 and 7, and a son age 2. Okay. He has three kids, not 2. Kids. Also, he's on his 4th agent since he's been in the league.
In 3 years.
In 4 years. He's on his 4th agent.
Oh boy.
Which, that's weird.
That's changing one every year.
That's one every, usually like 1 they'll change, but 4 is a lot.
That's a bit.
That's a lot. So 97, 98 Golden State. This is when they hire P.J. Carlissimo, who was the coach at Seton Hall before that, a college coach, known as a disciplinarian, which pretty much never works in the NBA.
His first year in the NBA, he goes to
this team.
He goes to Coach Latrell Sprewell.
He goes to Coach Latrell Sprewell and be a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Not just Coach Latrell Sprewell, to be a ball breaker.
Of guys he's not as good as.
Not as good as guys who make way more money than him, guys who can't be motivated by, I'll cut you. It's like, go ahead, motherfucker, you pay me for the next 5 years. I don't give a shit if you cut me or not. Whereas in college, I'll yank your scholarships, a real threat.
Right.
You'll have to sit out a year and all that shit. That's a real threat. You can't threaten an NBA player. You just can't. Bench me, fine. You'll get the heat from the media of why the fuck we're losing because I'm not playing. Knock yourself out, asshole. They have billboards of Carlissimo. The whole thing they advertise is, nope, not taking any shit anymore. This team's turning around.
Oh, boy.
They have billboards with him with like his arms crossed, wearing a leather jacket and sunglasses, trying to look hard and shit. Oh, I swear to God.
Their first year coach.
Who's
never coached an NBA
season.
game.
Yeah, he's coming to fucking.
All right.
Yeah, he's going to lay the law down. He's got his arms crossed. So we'll find out how that goes.
The Warriors, he's an idiot.
Yeah, well, we'll find out how that goes here. The team this year, before we get into anything that happened this season, the team at the end of the season altogether goes 19-63.
Yeah.
So that's how well discipline works in the NBA.
Carlissimo's a genius.
Unless you have respect. Like Phil Jackson's kind of a disciplinarian, but he's also a player's coach in certain ways. But at practice, you practice. And Phil was a great NBA player.
Right.
So they have respect for him.
You listen to that guy.
Yeah, he's known as he was a tough son of a bitch, and plus something about him being like 6'9" and looking these fucking guys in the eye is different than PJ Carlissimo, who's a tiny little fucking bearded guy who looks like somebody's math teacher. He doesn't look like a goddamn.
He's tying your drawstring on your shorts at eye level. Like that's what he's not a threat to anybody.
Not a threat. So
and he's going to tell me what to do.
Yeah. This year, Spree plays in 14 games, as we'll talk about why. Starts 13 of them, averages 21.4 a game, so he's doing fine. 4 rebounds, 5 assists about. But he has some problems team-wise. It's November 28th, 97. He's fined when he misses a team flight from Oakland to Salt Lake City and didn't arrive on his own by the team-appointed deadline, which was midnight the night before the game. You have to check in. Right. Say, hey, I'm in the city. I'm available. I'll be playing tomorrow. Right. You have to know you're there. Right. Yeah, it's one of those things. So apparently Golden State players also said that he didn't give his best effort at practice all the time, and sometimes he'd even refuse to shoot the ball during like scrimmages and shit. He's just fucking around.
$7 million a year now,
and on the court and during the games he's scoring 22 a game, so it doesn't matter. Like at that point, who cares?
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice. That's the thing about the NBA and about any league. Like there's certain. Even in the NFL, which is known as this hard-ass, like, military-type league, if you have a 34-year-old offensive tackle, he doesn't run all the drills that everybody else runs.
You don't need him doing that.
You take it easy on him, and you go, I know you'll have yourself ready by opening day because you do it every fucking year for the last 10 years, and I have faith that you'll do it again.
You want him snapping his Achilles in practice?
Yeah, it's why am I putting more miles on a big guy's body or on anybody's body? And it's kind of like the same thing in the NBA. Phil Jackson always had the thing is you don't treat some coaches say I treat everybody exactly the same. You can't do that with these are different people, and when you have some guys that make $7 million a year, you kind of have to. There's a certain way to approach them because you can't discipline them. You have nothing to hold over them, so you have to motivate them in different ways. You have to be smarter than that rather than just yelling at them. So
your bargain has to be strategy, not just yelling.
Exactly, it has to be. You'll make even more money if we win championships.
Treating everybody the same is paying them all the same also, and you sure as fuck don't do that.
You're not doing that. Right. So exactly. And Phil Jackson always said he treats everybody fucking different because everybody is different. You can't treat, Michael Jordan the same way that you treat Bill Wennington. This is not the same guy. I'm sorry. They're not the same guy. It's
Bill Wennington.
Judd Bushler as another. So
I swear he was a great 3-point shooter.
Maybe he was.
I picture him shooting threes.
I think he was a decent shooter. Right. So December 1st, 1997. This is his first year as a coach, Carlissimo. After a practice, because practices were closed to the media under Carlissimo because he wanted to be Mr. fucking disciplinarian. Right. Afterwards, a reporter noticed a bunch of long scratches down his neck, Carlissimo's neck. So the reporter said, quote, did you cut yourself shaving today? Did you have a bad razor or something? And apparently, because he was just joking around, like, geez, what happened there? Like, he didn't think it was anything. And Carlissimo stopped dead and he just said, no comment. Which is like, whoa, what the hell's that about?
There's a story.
There's something here. He could have just said, yeah, I scratched myself earlier. With next question. Yeah. Instead, no comment. And they were like,
burn
interesting.
myself with a curling iron is a better excuse than no comment.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, one of the players here said at this point, the team was 1-13 at this point. So not going well. And one of the players said, quote, we all seen it coming, is what they said here. It was during a practice. Sprewell was running a 3-man, two-ball shooting drill with point guard Muggsy Bogues and assistant coach Mark Grabow. Now, this is what I mean how you have to know basketball because there's these specialized drills. Now, Sprewell's job was to keep passing to Bogues, who was supposed to try to get as many shots off as possible in 15 seconds. So it would come off, he'd pass, he'd kick, rebound, pass, kick, rebound, pass, kick. That's the drill. So Carlissimo stood and watched and didn't like the pace of the whole thing. This is what I mean. Stop with this. Didn't like the pace, and he was yelling at Sprewell to put a little mustard on that pass. Then he said, quote, get Muggsy some more shots, Spree. And Sprewell just kept doing exactly how he was doing, just ignoring him. So Carlissimo said louder and yelled at him. He said, come on, Spree, give him a sharper, crisper pass. And then he called Latrell's name again to say something else. And Latrell spun around, slammed the ball on the ground, and said, get off my back, motherfucker. Which is great.
Yeah.
So he said, get off my back, motherfucker. So PJ said, you're the fuck out of here. Carlissimo said, just go, Spree, just leave. He kicks him out of practice, right? So Sprewell, rather than leaving,
of course,
walks over to Carlissimo and grabs him around the throat with his hand and chokes him and said, quote, I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you. So while pushing PJ backward, PJ, to his credit, Carlissimo says, I'm here, do it, as he's being choked.
No.
Yes, he says, do it, man, motherfucker, I'm here. So
through a closed esophagus.
Not bad. Yeah. Now, well, he can get through because as Latrell Sprewell would later say on 60 Minutes, quote, I wasn't choking PJ that hard. I mean, he could breathe. So I wasn't choking like for results.
Right.
I was just choking
letting them know that I probably could.
It's like a vanity choke, really. It was just like one of those. So, I mean, he could breathe, so that's good, I suppose.
He got words out.
He could get words out. So it took 10 seconds of this choking and saying, I'm going to kill you, before two assistant coaches pulled Sprewell off of Carlissimo, let him out of the gym.
10 seconds.
Because it's unexpected.
Right.
You don't expect your star player to choke your head coach. That had to be like, what the fuck is he? Oh my God. And then it takes 3 seconds to get over there, I guess.
Now, all that you just said took 10 seconds. That is a long fucking time.
It's a long time, but to register what's happening when something crazy is happening like that you don't expect.
So the 6'5" Latrell Sprewell's hands around your neck.
Choking
10
the shit out of you.
10 seconds is forever.
That's a long time. Carlissimo, whatever, he didn't think so. So the coaches lead Sprewell out of the gym, where Latrell says, quote, get me the fuck out of here, trade me, I hate you, motherfucker, and knocked over a water cooler on the way out.
I like it.
So, I love it.
I'd have been, if I'm a teammate, I'm clapping.
Fuck this guy. We're 1-13, motherfucker. It's not his fault. He's averaging 21.4 a game. What are you doing, beard? What are you doing, beard face? What do you got going on? She'll take less time trimming your beard in the morning and more time coming up with offensive plays, asshole.
His beard was always perfect.
It was perfectly.
It was a great beard.
Trimmed.
Yeah.
So at this point, one of the players joined Sprewell in the hallway to try to calm him down, but Carlissimo, being an asswipe at the time, didn't let this guy talk to him and calm him down. Which there's certain guys on the team that's their role, is they're the calmers and they're the hey man, you know what I'm saying? The older guys, let's talk about this. Hey, fuck that guy. Get yours. We'll do this. But Carlissimo said, no, fuck him, leave him alone, everybody in here. I don't want to interrupt practice at all for this. He just wanted to blow by it like it never happened. Let's just keep going with practice. It didn't happen. Fuck it.
Spree has your skin under his fingernails. Maybe we wait a minute.
Yeah,
Maybe we calm down.
Instead, they let Sprewell go. He went back to the locker room, took a shower, and about 15 minutes later, and the time's disputed. Some people say 10. He says 10. Other people say 20. So we're going to call it 15.
Okay.
We're going to say that you're both fucking liars.
Okay.
Everybody's a liar. Going by the everybody's a liar theory, we'll say 15.
Okay.
So two coaches try to grab him already now because Sprewell returns from the gym, and they're like, uh-oh, maybe we should grab grab him. But by the time they got to him, he was already around the baseline where Carlissimo was watching the full court drill, and Sprewell said as the coaches tried to grab him, "Don't touch me." And then he said to Carlissimo, quote, "I'm going to fuck you up." And then threw punches at him. Threw an overhand right that apparently grazed him and punched him in the shoulder with his other hand while people were grabbing him. So he just starts swinging wildly at his coach after telling him, "I'm going to fuck you up and I'm going to kill you."
Everybody talks about this, the choking.
Yeah.
The punches are much more dangerous.
Much more dangerous. Because the choking, he was letting him breathe.
Right.
Come on. So it's at this point where a teammate said, Sprewell later says that a teammate told Sprewell that he was only making himself look bad, and Sprewell said all of a sudden he felt humiliated. He said that felt like he was throwing a silly, violent tantrum. He was yelling, trade me," and then he looked down and realized that he was missing his shoe also. And so then he said, "Give me my damn shoe," which also made him feel stupid because he's just a fucking mess. He's like a lunatic on cops now.
Right. With no drugs in him. This is just a normal man.
No, we don't know what, but I mean, he's not like, he doesn't have a cocaine problem or anything. It's not like it's Eddie Johnson doing this and he just got done doing an 8-ball on the bench. This is, So the reaction to all this, Sprewell, about this whole thing, he's like, "I'm not a violent guy." He's like, "I don't get mad at shit." He said, quote, "I don't get upset unless somebody's doing something to me or to my family, disrespecting me to where I just can't tolerate it." Okay. So that's all he says. Ronnie Cycli, remember him?
Yeah.
Big hairy Greek fuck.
So ugly.
Yeah. Big fucking,
his face
big
is
Greek
horrific.
fuck. Yeah. He looks like he looks like Mount Rushmore, but stuck on a human body, a stone head.
They did the big head mode in
NBA Jam.
And his didn't change.
It's the same. If it got any bigger, it wouldn't have fit on the screen. It would have bumped off Penny Hardaway. You can't have that. So, or Scott Skiles or whoever the fuck he was with at that time.
He was on Miami, so it would have been Tim Hardaway.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It was Hardaway. Why did I go to Orlando?
I don't know.
So anyway, Cycli played for Orlando for a while. That's why. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
I forget who the
because Shaq wasn't allowed to be on the NBA Jam video game, and then Cycli was.
Well, he's in it now with Skiles and Anderson.
But back then he had his own game.
Yeah, okay.
If you remember? So
yeah.
He was like why Barry Bonds was never on. There was always San Fran number 25, but it wouldn't have a name on any video game. So, Ronnie Cycli said of Sprewell, quote, he, quote, always seemed to have this hatred inside him. Even though he never got physical with the coaching staff before, I'd seen him do it to other players in practice, with a 2x4.
Right.
Now, his coach at Alabama here, Wimp Sanderson, we need a Wimp quote.
What does Puss have to say?
You don't hear enough quotes from anybody named Wimp. So let's figure that out. He says, quote, I think the 2 years he played for me, I had one minor incident when he was late for a bus one time. So that's not bad. He said, quote, I don't condone what he did, but I don't have anything but good things to say about Spree as far as the time he played for me. He worked hard and stayed out of trouble. Obviously, Spree has some answering to do here, I would say, for this. Right away, he's handed a 10-day suspension. That's just to get him out of the building, basically, so you don't come back tomorrow. So they give him a 10-day suspension right away, but obviously this gets a shitload of publicity, and it gets out of fucking control here. Way out of control. 2 days afterwards, the Warriors void his contract. He has 3 years and $23.7 million left on this deal, and they void the contract. And the NBA the next day announces that they're suspending him for a year.
Oh boy.
So that's a lot. To lose $24 million and get suspended for a year is a big deal. David Stern, the silver-haired middle-aged white man extraordinaire of the NBA, who he says, quote, Latrell Sprewell assaulted coach PJ Carlissimo twice at Monday's practice. First he choked him until forcibly pulled away. Then after leaving practice, Mr. Sprewell returned and fought his way through others in order to commit a second, and this time clearly premeditated assault. A sports league does not have to accept or condone behavior that would not be tolerated in any other segment of society. Accordingly, Latrell Sprewell is suspended from the NBA for 1 year. So, now, problem is that isn't all too legal because it's not clearly defined in these contracts and shit like that. So Sprewell sues. He sues the Warriors, he sues the NBA, and I've read all these fucking lawsuits. He's a sewer, Sprewell. He'll sue the shit out of shit. But as he found out, you can't really sue for libel if you're famous, and shit isn't intended to, we'll talk about it. Okay. But pay attention, athletes who've threatened us before. That's why you've never followed through, because you can't.
Right.
Because there's a reason why. So So Sprewell ends up having his contract reinstated after a bunch of legal challenges here. He says that in the court documents here, Carlissimo was an abrasive coach who continually tried to invite confrontation during their 2-month relationship. He also, Sprewell, was mad at the investigative process of the NBA's security team, calling its tactics fishy and unprofessional. So he's throwing some shade on that shit. The big deal is they say the choking was one thing. That was heat of the moment. That happens. But to leave and come back at least 10 minutes later, that they're saying that's a premeditated attack. And, they said that he should be able to cool. And they said, Sprewell said that he was still angry, didn't have time to cool off. Yeah. He says, quote, I never left for 20 minutes like they said I did. It was maybe 5 or 10 minutes and I was still angry. So it wasn't 20, it was 10. But I was still angry here. It
is crazy that a coach can get under his skin that easy and that quick, but that dog bites his kid in the fucking face.
Fine with it.
And he doesn't lose his goddamn mind.
It's weird. Yeah, that's what I mean. He reacts strangely to things. Like he's always, his reaction's always a little off of everything. Now Sprewell also said, quote, I'm not trying to blame it all on him, but every day he was on me, being abusive all the time. Your boss just can't be on you every day like that. It just gets to you after a while. A lot of people said, just suck it up for the money. I love money, but my pride, manhood, and self-respect are more important. I believe I was right. Okay. So that's what he says here. They asked him if he meant that choking Carlissimo was right. He said, quote, I don't condone what I did. If I had it to do again, I would have walked straight out of practice and straight toward the reporters and told them what I was feeling. I just lost control, but I wanted to stand up in some way. That's how he could have got back at Carlissimo. He could have went and said, hey, we're 1-13. It's because this guy can't fucking coach. Right. That's what he could have said.
Because we got a college coach.
Because we got a college coach. He treats everyone like assholes and nobody likes playing for him. And then that would have been something to talk about other than just, you would have had some ground to stand on. Like, I averaged 22 a game. He sucks.
Every player on this team has a better car than that man.
Yeah, I'm an all-star every year, so it's not my fucking fault. Talk to this asshole.
That guy's car has wood paneling on the side. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's driving the family truckster. Fuck this shit. But he makes $7.7 million for that year and gets it back here. He ends up getting $17.3 million of his contract reinstated. So he only loses about $10 million out of the whole deal, which is
crazy.
Which is still a lot of money.
That's a staggering amount of money for a choke and a couple of punch.
And a graze, but didn't even land.
Right.
Wow. Can you imagine that? That's a lot. So there was an arbitrator, a guy named John D. Feerick, who's the dean of Fordham Law School. He's the arbitrator here. He reduced this suspension by 14 games as well. They said he can return to the NBA as soon as July 1st of the next year, or that year. He'll eventually lose 68 games and $6.4 million in all. It's the longest suspension in team sports history not related to drugs or gambling.
Really?
Absolutely. So that tells you a lot right there. That's a lot right there. Yeah. Later on, I think it was changed when people were doing crazy shit criminally, but at the time it was.
I mean, Ray Rice is a little more.
That was.
That's fucking indefinite. That's a pretty big suspension.
Forever.
Yeah.
So this was a 106-page decision, and it also backed up a lot of Sprewell's claims, but it also had a lot of graphic accounts of the incident from people who were sworn to testify in depositions.
From Muggsy Bogues.
Exactly. Sprewell said it was, quote, not that bad. He says, this is what he said in the arbitration, Sprewell, quote, if you're fearing for your life, you don't just stand there. PJ did nothing when I grabbed him. If you think you're about to die, you think you would do something about it. He didn't stop breathing or anything. He did nothing. I would have to let go. I wasn't going to kill him. He did nothing. He didn't even stop breathing. I expect someone to at least stop breathing when I choke him. This motherfucker was rudely breathing all over the place.
Still had his color and everything.
Fucking ridiculous, man. He said the Warriors of trying to trade him in the offseason. They asked him about that, and he said, quote, I don't know what they're thinking. They didn't seem too pleased with me in the hearing. I think they basically hate me after this. Not everyone, but some people. He kind of made their team a laughingstock. shock.
Yeah.
So 21 witnesses testified over 4 days of this whole thing here. He had filed 2 grievances, one against the Warriors for the contract and one against the league for imposing the 1-year suspension. He argued that he was the first player, his attorneys argued he was the first player to be penalized by both the league and a team for a transgression. That's what they said. It was like a double jeopardy thing. His side also argued that the collective bargaining agreement clearly states that a penalty in a case like this could be issued either by a team or the league, but not both.
Got it.
So you can't double him there. Sprewell said he was surprised by the decision. He said, quote, I was a little shocked, really, to be back with the Warriors, because that just put him back in the Warriors with everything in their hands. But the more I thought about it, Furyk did the right thing for everybody. He clearly saw there wasn't premeditation and that the team could not take away my contract on grounds of morality, which is interesting. He also said, quote, I've had other players around the league tell me that their coaches came to them and said, if you have a problem, let's try to talk it out. Let's try not to choke everyone.
Somebody started thinking about, I got some big motherfuckers on this team.
Let's not let it get to choking, because I yell at that power forward all the time. So he said, quote, if there's anything good to come out of this, that's it. I think the whole incident can help benefit the relationships between players and coaches, as crazy as that sounds right now.
Wes Unseld started thinking about how brittle his hip is.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is not fucking, Lenny Wilkins is like, I better be polite, because I'm an old man.
Fucking awesome.
Tom Jonovich trying not to get knocked out on the court again like he did in the 70s.
Started thinking about how big Olajuwon really is.
Jesus, these guys are big. That fucking Kevin Willis is no joke. He looks like a professional wrestler, for Christ's sake. So, he says Sprewell, he keeps saying he doesn't condone what he did, but he's upset by the way he was portrayed in the media over the thing.
But Pat Riley took them all into a meeting and cocked a gun and was like, y'all got a motherfucking problem.
Who's got a problem?
He guy's straight gangster.
Yeah,
that guy is hood.
Yeah, I feel like he'd have it. You'd know that he's got a gun. He doesn't need to cock it.
He just opens his jacket. He's like, one of you motherfuckers
he's
got
packing. You know he's packing. Let's be cool. That's fucking awesome. So Sprewell says he's upset by the way he was portrayed. In specific, the December 15th, 1997 Sports Illustrated cover where he looked angry. Mm-hmm. He said, quote, it's always a picture of me looking mad or being aggressive. He said, I never saw pictures of myself where I had a smile on my face. It was always negative. Yeah. Which
I remember that when he was holding the ball and he's like holding it back, I think.
He's got, it's like a black cover with a picture of him kind of like a quarter of the page, and it's like him like with his arms crossed, like going like fuck, or just got finished being mad at something, or like just like angry at a foul call. Maybe
or some
shit.
Seeing him on something else.
This was the Sports Illustrated one
with the ball back and like a fucking grimace.
That's probably a basketball card or something. Who knows? PJ Carlissimo says, quote, it's disappointing to do the right thing and be told it's not the right thing. He says if I have to, of course I will coach him again. Yeah. So he doesn't want to, clearly.
It's part of the job.
Converse drops him as an endorser.
That's
at
right.
this
He did
point.
Have Converse.
He had Converse, not anymore. So you think at this point, lie low, be cool, just lay low, be all right. He's March 1st, 1998. Sprewell swerves out of an exit-only lane, out of the exit lane on the freeway, and back onto the freeway, striking another car and injuring a couple.
Fuck.
He is charged with reckless driving for this little incident here. So July 28th, 1998, he pleads no contest to a reckless driving charge and is sentenced to 3 months of home detention.
Ouch.
After a no contest plea. He could have been sentenced to up to 6 months in jail. He agreed to plead no contest in order to put the case behind him. He says, quote, it's just been unfortunate. I'm just trying to move on. It seems like every day it's something new again, as a good crime in sports always is.
Yeah, it is.
And he's placed on 2 years probation and fined $1,000 and ordered not to have a gun in his possession, which probably for the best at this point.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure like what the fuck was he doing how hard did he hit that car?
Well, if you're on the freeway and you go to an exit lane and you go, oh shit, that's not my exit, you just jerk the wheel back real quick and hit somebody else. You're both going 70, and who the hell knows what can happen.
That's on your left side. You're in the fucking driver's seat. How do you not see that car?
Jerk it back. Well, in Cali, he might have been on the left side.
Oh, that's
this
a good
is
point.
In California, there's left hand.
He just bounces back out,
he might have, popped out. Who knows? I mean,
fuck LA freeway.
Jesus Christ. So, who the hell knows here? A couple that is injured says they intend to sue Sprewell in civil civil court.
Yeah.
Obviously.
This was that time.
This is every time, especially if he's pleads no contest to reckless driving. He really doesn't have a leg to stand on. I think that was a settlement. So this happens. This is just bad timing, I think. So this happens July 28th, 98. He pleads guilty to reckless driving. And then October 98, he opens up a shop called Sprewell Racing.
No.
You can't see what I mean? That seems like it's just to be a dick, doesn't it? Which I kind of like, and I kind of think
just
is ridiculous.
Contrarian, look what I can do.
Look, Sprewell Racing. This is a shop that sells high-performance wheels, tires, suspension systems, and other accessories. It's in San Gabriel, 15 miles east of Los Angeles. Keep that in mind, because that's going to come back, the Sprewell Racing place. January 21st, 1999, when the strike came back, because we remember that was when the NBA came off strike, he is traded, Latrell is, from the Warriors.
New York?
Yeah, to the Knicks, which I was fucking thrilled with. I was like, finally.
Yeah.
We did have to give up Terry Cummings, Chris Mills, and John Starks, which compared to Sprewell is a bag of shit, but I love John Starks.
And then
every
Larry
Knicks fan,
Johnson?
Yeah, every Knicks fan loves John Starks just because of his heart, even though he blew the fucking finals. Never mind. So,
Terry Cummings, John Starks, and who else?
Chris Mills.
Oh, yeah,
so,
that's fine. Whatever.
That's nice roster filling for Golden State, and they had those guys for a while, too.
Really? John Starks was in Golden State that long?
He was in for a little while. And
this was after the strike, though.
That's what I mean. That couple of years after that shit was a mess.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Knicks. Young James was a happy guy. I was thrilled to have Sprewell back there. I didn't give a shit who he fucking choked.
Yeah.
This is Marcus Camby, Chris Childs, Chris Dudley. Remember that big stiff center from Yale? Patrick Ewing at the nearing his twilight. Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, Kurt Thomas, Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner from Florida State, quarterback.
This was a fun team.
David Wingate.
Fuck yeah.
Herb Williams, the old center. This was a decent squad. This was a fun squad to watch, and this was a good time to be a Knicks fan. And I'll tell you right now, those times are few and far between. My two favorite teams are the Knicks and the Suns. I had a good run in the 90s where they both made the playoffs all the time. Both of them broke my heart in the finals on back-to-back years, and I'll never, ever be happy with the result of an NBA season because neither of my teams will ever win a championship. You can fucking bank on that shit. Ever. Never going to happen.
No, the Suns get that Booker and...
the Suns are the worst team in the NBA right now. They're the worst fucking team. They're never going to get better. They're not. They're not.
You know, that Sarver fella really fucking sunk this whole shit.
It's a pile of shit right now. Even their uniforms suck. They're a pile of shit right now.
And they're asking for a new stadium.
They need a redo.
How do you ask for a new stadium when you legitimately... You're worse than everybody.
They're worse than everybody. No one wants to watch them. No, when's the last time you heard anybody say they were going to a Suns game tonight?
I hear it.
We live in Phoenix.
From comics because they're like they gave us free tickets. Of course they did.
Yeah,
they sat us right next to the court. Yeah, because you're the only ones there.
You're the only ones there. They have to.
Those seats are they're the closest that are empty.
So, Jesus. So this season, strike shortened season. Obviously,
sit on the bench with them if you want.
Probably they'll might let you play the Suns at this point. They might give you a 10-day. Let you go out there and shoot around a little bit, like hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Right.
So, 98-99 Knicks. This is Jeff Van Gundy, who, as you remember, was the coach who was hanging on players' legs as they fought, which was hilarious. This was a 27-23 team, so not great.
No, but
they're just over 500.
Season. That's great.
50 games, they make the playoffs, and they first round they beat the Miami Heat, which was the whole 90s rivalry. They beat them 3-2, so that was a long series. Then they sweep the Atlanta Hawks 4-0, and then they go to the Pacers. So they have to like slay all of their 90s rivalries here. They beat the Pacers 4-2 in the conference finals, and all the way to the fucking finals against the Spurs. And I think this was Tim Duncan's rookie year, I believe, second year or rookie year. And this was a.
But don't worry, when he's not playing, David Robinson's out there.
Yeah, this sucked watching this series. This was a 4-1 Spurs win in the series. Knicks never really had a chance here. Spree had a big playoff game where he had 35 points against the Pacers to ice a deciding playoff game. So he was definitely a huge part of this team. That
instrumental in that success.
Absolutely, a huge part of this success. And in New York, if you're a big part of success, they fucking love you there, and everybody loved him. So 98-99 with the Knicks, 37 games. He only starts 4, averages 16.4 points per game, 4.2 rebounds rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 steals. He hasn't ever had a season under a steal a game, which is pretty impressive. He makes $8.3 million for this season from his escalating deal. Things are getting better for him now. He just went to the finals with the Knicks. He is a darling of New York, man. People fucking loved him. He signs with the And One Shoe Company.
There you go.
So he gets another fucking endorsement deal here.
Perfect shoe for that guy.
Perfect deal. They make a commercial calling him the American Dream. They did like an exact, it was a pretty interesting commercial. The commercial kind of made him look like an asshole, and they called him the American Dream, which was fucking cool at the time. It wasn't bad at all. And the Knicks really do make him the American Dream by giving him a new contract. He gets a 5-year, $62 million deal with the Knicks.
Now you're talking.
5-year, $62 million.
He's already made almost 20.
Guaranteed.
Beautiful.
Can you imagine that deal?
No.
5 years, $62 million. God, you would have to fucking stab me to get the smile off my face all the time.
You'd need Carmen Sandiego to find me in 5 years.
I would be, gone.
You're never finding me.
Well, and he's easily found, as we'll find out here.
Okay.
September 15th, 1999, he's found by the cops. They find him. They pull him over. He's driving south on I-94 in Wisconsin here when the Racine County Sheriff's Department they call in to the Kenosha County deputies to look for 2 black sports cars which were reportedly racing.
There should never be a black sports car in Kenosha.
No, well,
ever.
Wait till you hear the car it is, too.
God.
Deputies soon saw a Lamborghini.
Oh, my God.
A black 97 Lamborghini.
Jesus.
Pulled it over at 12:07 a.m. It's Sprewell driving. It's his car. He talks congenially with police and expressed concern about street gang problems when he was pulled over. He got pulled over and talked. He's like, these gangs out here they're getting ridiculous, officer.
Really
I'm scared to go out in my Lamborghini at night. It's just not the same. I'm scared to choke a man in the streets. Do you understand? So,
in order to keep away from them, I have to do 135.
I have to.
Yeah.
The guy was chasing me. You heard about it. It wasn't a race. It was a chase. So the passenger here ends up being taken into custody on an outstanding warrant.
Yeah.
They did background checks, and this guy named Raymond Pope of Milwaukee had an outstanding warrant for driving after revocation of his license. So Sprewell followed the squad car to the police station and bailed his friend out for $300.
Nice.
That's nice. And we could have been like, have a good one, asshole. At the station, officers approached him and asked to be photographed with him.
Yeah.
And they said, one officer said, quote, he was very cooperative and a real nice person. He could have been a jerk, but he definitely wasn't. Then he kept going on. He was talking to the gang crimes unit, and he was very concerned about gang activities in Kenosha, about gang problems in Kenosha. And the cops said, quote, we said we got it under control. And he said, okay, good. So he was like, all right, good, because I was going to do something.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you going to do? I was going to go around choking motherfuckers till it stopped.
They can't run from me.
I was just going to choke them till they stopped.
I clearly have the fastest car in Kenosha. I'll catch them.
And I have my new program, which is choke your way off the streets. This is what you do. You choke kids off the streets. It's like Scared Straight, but it's like Scared Almost Dead. It's pretty Scared Blacked Out.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
When dare doesn't work, choke a kid off drugs. It works.
Yeah, so, Jesus Christ. So while one cop went to get a camera and to find another cop who would want to take a picture with Sprewell because he was a fan of his, another cop talked to Sprewell about the Lamborghini. This cop said, quote, he said it goes about 180 miles an hour, but he hadn't had it that fast since he was in California. Jesus Christ.
Haven't had it that fast this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah, sorry, pal.
Jesus.
So 99-2000 is Jeff Van Gundy again. The Knicks finished 50-32 this year, so a little bit better. They beat Toronto 3-0 in the first round because they had stupid cartoon dinosaurs on their shirt. And in the second round, they beat the Heat 4-3, 7-game series, wears them out, and then they lose in the conference finals to Indiana in a 6-game series. Now, Sprewell, we'll talk about his stats and then talk about something hilarious that happened this year. This year, 82 games, starts all 82 games, averages 40 minutes a game, 18.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.3 steals. He's back to old Sprewell.
Yeah.
He's nasty. He makes $9 million that year. My man. And at this point, December 13th, 99, during the season, workers at an auto shop owned by him, the Sprewell Racing, were selling selling vehicles that were stolen in Mexico.
Oh, no.
And brought up there. 19 vehicles are recovered.
Oh, fuck.
With no arrests related directly to the stolen vehicles at the point of this story here. Search warrants were issued for 8 locations after this. They said it doesn't appear that Sprewell is involved in any of the criminal activities. They said his agent, Robert Gist, by the way, remember that name because he'll come up too. He'd been in contact and he said that Sprewell was unaware of anything, but he'll comment on it later in the week. Stolen vehicles included Jeep Grand Cherokees, Ford pickups, Dodge Durangos, just shit like that.
American cars that are easy to steal.
Yeah, were allegedly being sold by employees at the racing, at Sprewell Racing. They were stolen in Mexico, delivered to the shop, and sold to unsuspecting buyers. Yeah. They were sold to just people who didn't know any better. Also, a motor home and 2 Sea-Doo watercraft were also recovered. Recovered, as was $200,000 worth of computer equipment from a cargo theft in Northern California at San Leandro. So they had like a stolen, like a commodities center going on.
He's kind of like a fucking old Fast and Furious
out of his
going on.
Yes, and he apparently didn't know it was even happening.
Unbelievable.
Because he doesn't need the money. He's making $9 million. And this wasn't like his cousin was running it. He's just a business where his employees were there. So 99, 2000, like we said, $9 million for him. 2000-2001 roster here, or season for the Knicks, 48-34 under Jeff Van Gundy again. They lose in the first round to the Raptors that year. That's ugly. That wasn't good at all. But Sprewell's an all-star. Yeah. Makes the all-star team again. Starts all 77 games he plays, 39.2 minutes per game. He has just iron legs. He never fucking stops with that shit. He's just an endless energy. 17.7 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.4 steals. He's consistent as fuck and an all-star, and also makes $10,125,000. He has really done well for that himself. Year. He's done so well for himself at this point. 2001-2002, Knicks finished 30-52. They fire Jeff Van Gundy after 19 games to bring in Don Chaney that year. He had some problems that year, too. He's fined $125,000. What'd he do? By the Knicks for missing a shoot-around before a game with the Miami Heat. The fine represents 1/90th of his $11.25 million salary. He says, Sprewell says he deserved to be fined. He did miss the shoot around, but he thinks the amount is excessive. He has 20 days to file an appeal. This is his quote. Quote, "I can accept a certain fine, but taking 1/90th is a little too much." That is a lot. That's a lot, but it's so funny that you would think taking 1/90th is just a weird thing here. They called it conduct detrimental to the team. I guess missing a shoot-around's detrimental. He's suspended for a game and wasn't in uniform. The Knicks blew out somebody 94-67. He had started every game before that. He said he missed the morning shoot-around because he overslept, and he said there's no excuse for not calling. I should have called, which is true. Especially when you make $11.25 million, you should probably call. It's a $100,000 nap. I will call every time I eat a sandwich. Hey, I'm eating a sandwich. Okay, cool. If you pay me that kind of money. $11 million a year. I'll tell you everything I'm doing. It'll be ridiculous. You can do anything. You follow me around with a camera. You can do anything you want. Whatever. I will send you dick pics all day. You got 11. You paid for them. Still out. Bought and paid for, mister. You own those. So that season he plays in 81 games, 19.4 points a game, which is great, 3.7 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1.2 steals, $11.25 million. So crushing it. 2002, 2003, Knicks 37-45. They're just on their mediocrity kick there. Now, October of 2002, the beginning of the season, is when we have some issues. This results, Sprewell breaks his pinky and misses 6 weeks. This results in a federal lawsuit. Why? So how does a broken pinky result in a federal lawsuit? Well, Sprewell bought before this summer in May of 2002, Sprewell bought, this is a wise purchase, by the way. We always say, this is a new crime in sports rule. Don't buy a 70-foot, $1.5 million yacht. Why would you do that? Don't buy that. That's yacht. And you know what he called it? What? Milwaukee's Best. No. He called it Milwaukee's Best.
The worst beer on earth.
Milwaukee's Best is what he fucking called his 1 point. You know how much fucking Milwaukee's Best you could buy for $1.5 million?
They even buy the fucking
whole
company.
Factory. All of it would be the answer. All of it that's ever been made.
Insanity. Why would he buy that?
Well, he said that he's a boat guy now. He's off of cars now. He's into boats now.
You don't buy a yacht.
No, especially if you have no boat experience.
Right.
And he doesn't like hire a crew. He just drives it around himself.
No.
Oh yeah.
In the New York Harbor.
Captain Sprewell. He keeps it in he keeps it in Milwaukee and Michigan and up there. Imagine him with a captain's hat on.
Oh, the Great Lake?
Yeah, he's on a fucking lake. He lived on it for the whole summer of 2002.
Yeah, you would.
Now, the New York Post reports that he failed to inform the Knicks about his injury and failed to tell them the truth about where it came from. The New York Post reports that he broke his pinky, missing a punch and striking a wall for good reason. He did this because he was taking a swing at a man because the man's girlfriend had thrown up on his yacht carpet. So when people throw up on your yacht carpet, you have to try to punch them. I feel like that's yacht etiquette
and
at that
missed,
point. And he missed
so
the guy and he hit the wall. That's the story there. He fucking denies that to the hilt.
Really?
But it makes way more sense, that story, than what he says. And they come out that it's a boxer's fracture in his pinky that you usually get from punching shit.
Yep.
He tells his agent that he says he didn't even know the fracture was there, and didn't even know it was there till he was doing weightlifting with the Knicks, and then realized his finger was hurt, and then realized that he needs surgery on a broken pinky.
How about the part where your hand is a fucking balloon?
Well, I guess this was an old fracture because it had been
He'd done it before.
He'd done it, yeah. He said he believed the fracture occurred while he was skippering his new yacht on the choppy waters of Lake Michigan. Skippering. He said...
Your yacht doesn't usually bounce around.
Well, Lake Michigan can be choppy.
Not a 70-foot yacht.
He said it occurred about 2 weeks before training camp. He said, according to him, his agent said that a wave smacked his boat and messed up so he had to scramble to get control of the boat because, he's not a fucking boat captain.
Right.
And he was frantically pulling on a rope to redirect it. And while he was doing that, he banged his hand in the course of shifting the boat's navigational system. He whacked his hand, and so much adrenaline was going, he didn't even know what was going on. Okay. Now, he's been asked by the Knicks to stay away from training camp, and he believes he irritated the pinky in the weight room, and the boating mishap may have resulted in the fracture. Mm-hmm. He said, now his agent said, quote, he was so excited, so prepared for camp. He wished he would have known it was broken. He's optimistic he'll be playing before 6 weeks. He's itching to get out of that cast.
Yeah.
So he's just saying, Sprewell said, quote, he told me he's busting his butt, a Sprewell friend said, quote, he told me he's busting his butt all summer on that boat. He's the driver, and it's very physical. It's not a driver, by the way. Dropping anchors. It's not like he has a captain. When I heard he had a fracture, I knew it was boat related.
Here's the other thing. With a 70-foot yacht, you don't you press a button and drop the anchor.
I don't think he's going out there. No. Imagine the anchor that you'd have to throw. I'm going to throw a fucking 1-ton anchor over the side.
You're throwing a fucking Volkswagen over the side?
Hey, Bill, get the other end of this. No, that's not how this shit works.
What an asshole.
Jesus Christ.
He's throwing anchors. No, he's not.
I knew it was boat related, his friend said. I knew he had a boat. When I hear an injury, I think boat related right away.
He should have bought a pontoon boat.
She should have bought it. It's just too much boat.
It's
too much. It's just too much boat.
That minimum,
he should have at least called it "Suck My Wake" if he was going to do it.
He should have had a jet boat.
He should have had a jet boat. Yeah.
You don't have a fucking yacht.
Jet boat.
Scraping
bugs off your teeth with Uncle Roman's jet boat. Take
a ride and suck my wake. Jet
boat. Sorry, Dad. You see the lake in comfort. You can fish off it. You can put the barbecue up there. It's just a good time. So he does not get the pontoon boat as he should, and instead the Knick GM was asked questions by the media about how he broke his pinky, and they said, did he get in a fight? And they called it a boxer's fracture because it usually results from a punch, although and they said it normally occurs when someone punches something with no give, like a wall or a pole or frantically roping off a navigate. I don't know. So Sprewell told the Knicks he banged his hand a couple weeks ago and just kind of had some vagueness. And Spree told me that they never gave him a chance to tell him what happened, is what his agent said, which I think is insane. He had been living on the yacht all summer. The boat has 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a living room, and he often sailed from Chicago or Milwaukee to Chicago.
He didn't sail anywhere. It has a fucking motor.
Yeah, he didn't sail.
And he boated, goddammit.
He fucking ran it there. Spree ends up suing the New York Post for slander and libel for reporting how it happened and insinuating that he failed to tell the team about the injury. He sues the Post. From the documents, these are from the court documents, and I quote, "At issue are 4 allegedly libelous articles published by the Post on October 4th, 5, 7, and 8 of 2002. One of all of which involved an incident on the plaintiff's yacht in which he fractured his 5th metacarpal, which sounds ridiculous right there in a court document. Yeah, it's just in a court document on his yacht. Right. The articles discuss the circumstances under which the injury occurred, including eyewitness accounts that Sprewell took a swing at a guest, missed, and hit a wall, and Sprewell's denial of such events. The article also discussed Sprewell's delay in reporting the injury to the Knicks, the management, and the Knicks' response for the injury or delay in reporting it. The October 8th article reported that, quote, "Fed up with the saga around surrounding Sprewell's broken hand, and more importantly, the failure to inform the club about his injury for 2 weeks, the Knicks fined Sprewell $250,000 and banned him from contact with the team for an indeterminate period."
That is a steep...
Which wasn't true.
Okay.
But that's what they had heard, so that's what they reported. The complaint alleges generally that the articles were, quote, "published with actual malice, exposing Sprewell to public ridicule, contempt, aversion, disgrace, and induced evil opinions of him in the minds of right-thinking persons." Okay. That's what the lawsuit says. A judge initially rules that the case can proceed. He can sue the Times, or sue the Post that year. 2002-2003, he plays in 74 games, so he came back early from the pinky, earlier than 6 weeks. 16.4 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, 4.5 assists. You know the stats. The same every fucking year. 1.4 steals, same exact stats. Makes $12,375,000 that year. That'll make your fucking pinky feel better. So February 27th, 2003, he is arrested at a checkpoint after officers discover he's driving with a suspended license. There's no excuse for this shit.
There isn't.
I get it if you work fucking 75 hours a week and you work paycheck to paycheck and you can't afford your fine, and then it got more and it got out of control and you get suspended license. I know people that's happened to, and that's brutal because it's a cycle you can't get out of unless you get a big chunk of money from somewhere. He can go settle any traffic shit he has.
This chunk of money is there.
Settle it.
Every year.
Get rid of it. Instead, he's pulled over at the base of the West Side Highway while he's driving. It's about 10 a.m. He paid a fine and was released in less than 2 hours. His license had been suspended after he failed to answer a summons for failing to signal at one point. Ridiculous.
He
pay
drives
it.
like a dickhead.
Just fucking pay your shit off. The team said they won't take any disciplinary action because they're like, he broke his finger, he's choking people, and we trade for him. We don't fucking care.
It's traffic.
Think we care about a traffic violation? So March of 2003. Papers are filed in Manhattan Family Court alleging Sprewell has been shortchanging his $2,000 a month child support obligation.
What?
This is from Mitraline.
You've got a fucking $1 million boat.
Yeah.
And you're not paying your child support?
Well, he's not really paying for the boat, as we'll find out soon either. But this is Mitraline. Mitraline acknowledged that Sprewell is the father of her teenage daughter, Aquila, and he's been paying her $2,000 a month for the support. Her lawyer said that she wants Mitraline wants the increased child support secured by a court order, not just Sprewell's good intentions. They said to get the court order support, the court has to declare that Sprewell is Aquila's father, which he's been paying child support for a long time. Yeah. I would say that's a pretty good idea. You think that you're the father at that point. Now, Sprewell said he's baffled by the allegations that he failed to pay proper child support. He said, quote, "It's a situation that I've been taking care of this child for 15 years now, not my daughter, this child. All of a sudden, you've got 3 years left and you want to renegotiate or do whatever. I don't really know what the extent of this whole filing is." It's 3 years. It's not a contract. No. The kid's not. He'll be 18 in 3 years.
She just wants her money paid.
And he says, "quote The thing that I find more disappointing, though, is that Pietragallo couldn't come to me because it's been 15 years where we've been having this communication. It's been good communication, and then you have this. So I don't know what this is about. I'm sure I'll find out very soon." And she says that she's received the $2,000 a month, but got nervous when he broke his hand under mysterious circumstances and missed the start of the season. The lawyer said, quote, she was really concerned about what happened with his hand and was concerned about the future of his professional career. This lawyer that Pietragallo got has represented the impregnated gal pals of Puff Daddy, of Ice-T, and Zab Judah.
Oh boy!
So this is kind of she knows how to go after these guys.
High-powered child support getter.
Absolutely. So they said right after the fiasco with his hand, Pietragallo said that Sprewell started ducking her calls and ducking calls from his daughter as well. And the lawyer said that she's seeking an order of child support in the amount equal to 17% of the adjusted gross income of Sprewell.
Oh, fuck.
Which is a fuckload.
Yeah.
And payment for medical, dental, educational, summer camp, and other expenses. Because 17% of $62 million won't cut that shit, apparently.
How much does she need?
Apparently 17%.
Man, that is fucked up.
She should be scoring 5 points a game. She wants to get 20% of his, or 4 points a game.
You better get in there and play 8 minutes.
I want a rebound out of you and like a quarter of a steal. Get in there, I think is what he's
playing 8 minutes.
That's a lot, though. That's a lot. He should be paying more than $2,000 a month if he's making $62 million.
Agree.
But 17. Can we find a happy medium to where she's comfortable, the child's well taken care of, and it's not insanity? Can we find that?
Stupid money.
So July 23rd, 2003, there's a 4-team trade where the Sprewell is traded by the Knicks to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, he was on the Timberwolves last couple of years there. The Atlanta Hawks traded Glenn Robinson, if you remember him. A lot of people involved in this. Terrell Brandon, Mark Jackson was involved. Keith Van Horn went to the Knicks. This was a big mess of a trade of a bunch of shit. So 2003, 2004, he plays for the Timberwolves. This is the Sam Cassell, Kevin Garnett, those guys, Fred Hoiberg, that kind of guy there. Oliver Miller was on this team.
No kidding.
Oh boy, Wally Zerbiak, Michael Olowokandi, the bust first round center, Gary Trent. This is a second-tier team here.
Poor Minneapolis.
Jeez, but they were a good team. Flip Saunders coaching, 58-24 they went this year. Yeah, they were shit before that. This trade made them good somehow. It was really weird. Kevin McHale looked like a fucking genius as the GM that year. They go to the playoffs. They win in the first round 4-1 over the Nuggets. They beat the Sacramento Kings 4-3 in a 7-game series in the second round. They go to the Western Conference Finals.
My Christ.
And lose to the juggernaut Lakers at that point in 6 games. That was Shaq Kobe Lakers. You weren't beating them in the conference finals. Not with that roster.
They had Fisher and Ori, too.
That was a nasty team.
That lineup was so deep.
You weren't beating them.
No.
Spree here starts all 82 games for Minnesota. Has a great year there. 37.8 minutes a game, 16.8 points, 3.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.1 steals.
Same Latrell. Shows up. He's 33 years old. Jesus.
Just keeps playing the same. Makes $13.5 million also, which isn't too shabby. 2004, 2005, Minnesota again. Now, during this season, this is fucking amazing. And we're going to do a great in their own words here on this. During the season, October 31st, 2004, the Timberwolves offer Sprewell a 3-year, $21 million contract extension, which comes at the end of his contract where he'll be about 35 years old. Just shy of his 35th birthday. They're going to offer him to play till he's 38 and make another $21 million.
Cash in.
And he publicly says that he is insulted by the offer, declaring, quote, I have a family to feed. Now, we're going to do it in their own words on this.
Oh, my God.
Let's do it in their own words. By the way, Taylor is Glenn Taylor, the owner of the owner of the Timberwolves that he refers to. But we definitely need it in their own words because this is fucking bonkers. In their own words, quote, I have a family to feed. If Taylor wants to see my family fed, he better cough up some money. Otherwise, you're going to see these kids on one of those Sally Struthers commercials soon.
$21 million.
First of all, he made $13 million the last season, and he said if this guy doesn't cough up some money, his kids are going to wind up on Sally Struthers commercials, where starving children have flies all over them. I don't think so.
For 36 cents a day.
36 cents a day.
Feed my Latrell Sprewell's kids.
So they also asked him in the paper, well, don't you want to be here? The team's good. You guys went to the conference finals last year. Don't you want to help them win a title?
Don't give a fuck.
He says, quote, why would I want to help them win a title? They're not doing anything for me. I've got a lot of risk here. I've got my family to feed.
$21 million.
That's pretty good money for the end of your career to play your last.
The last.
You're 38 you're going to play till. They're going to pay you $7 million to play as a 38-year-old man.
You've made $40 million. They want to pay you half of that for 3 years. A 38-year-old
shooting guard.
Right.
I bet you won't be slashing through the lane with quite such vigor at 38. So he ends up declining the extension, and the Wolves offer him nothing more.
That's it.
They just let it fall. He doesn't take the money. He doesn't take it at all. November 2004, while this is going on, this is the same time period, Minneapolis police say that the department's internal affairs unit met with Sprewell and is investigating a charge of Sprewell's. He said that he had a previous encounter with an officer and had a problem with him. He received a misdemeanor citation after arguing with the officer around this time. He said he was riding in a vehicle that was stopped in downtown Minneapolis, and Sprewell spoke up when the driver was being questioned about licensing and insurance. He's in the passenger seat going, why the fuck are you bothering my... Shut the fuck up. Let me talk to the cop.
Asshole.
Never be that person.
No.
If you're in a car and the person gets pulled over, unless that cop asks you shit, you don't say a fucking word.
It's not
you
your...
shut the
it's
fuck
not your
up.
violation.
It's nothing to do with you.
No.
Unless they talk to you, you shut the fuck up. Don't try to add anything. Don't help.
Dummy.
Don't help.
Right.
So he was told not to interfere and was ticketed for failing to obey the lawful order of a police officer. And then he in turn filed an internal affairs complaint against this officer. He was given a form to detail his allegations.
Should we be releasing this?
This is so fucking stupid.
I am terrified.
Jesus Christ. He said the cop said that he hadn't received the report or any indication Sprewell intends to give a statement about it to the newspaper. So 2004-2005 he plays for Minnesota again. This year somehow Flip Saunders gets fired. He goes from going to the conference finals to getting shit canned in the middle of the year for being 25 and 26, which I think is a little
that's decent.
That seems a little rash, a little rash of a firing. And they bring in, shocker, the GM comes down from the booth, comes down from his office, and Kevin McHale decides, I got this.
I got it from here.
I'll go ahead and coach this from here. He goes 19-12 the rest of the way, and they miss the playoffs, finishing 44 and 38. Sprewell here plays in 80 games, starts 79, plays 30.6 minutes per game, 12.8 points a game this year, 3.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 0.7 steals. Worst year of his career because he's 34 years old and could really use that $21 million right about that. He makes $14.625 million that year.
That's a nice season.
That's a nice chunk of change here. For nothing. Now, in the summer of that year, the Nuggets, Cavaliers, and Houston Rockets all expressed interest in signing him, but he doesn't sign with any of them at that point. He never ends up playing in the NBA again.
Never again.
Never again. Turns down a $21 million 3-year deal and never gets signed by anybody again.
God, he's so weird.
He's so weird. That's what I mean. He's such a weird fucking guy. He plays in 913 games. He starts 868 of them, averages 38.6 minutes per game, which is outstanding. 18.3 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.4 blocks. It's a fucking hell of a career.
So good.
That's such a good career there. Now, in 1 month into the 2005-2006 season, he's still not on a team. His agent, this Bob Gist guy, or Gist, whatever it is, he said that Latrell would rather retire than play for the NBA minimum salary. He said, quote, Latrell doesn't need the money that badly. To go from being offered $7 million to taking $1 million, that would be a slap in the face. Then he says that Sprewell planned to wait until, quote, teams get desperate around the trade deadline, and then he'll sign with a contending team. And that never fucking happened. By the way, the agent also said that Sprewell would not be interested in signing for a $5 million mid-level exemption. He said he won't take that either.
What the shit?
He called that amount of money, quote, a level beneath which Sprewell would not stoop or kneel. That's what he said. So he's not taking
very,
that.
Very high road that he's taking.
I would say, because his career's fucking over.
Yeah.
He ends up making $97,060,000 in his career. $97,060,000 from the NBA.
And plus contracts with
endorsements,
Converse,
Converse, all that shit. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Which, that's not too shabby. March of 2006, he's offered actual contracts after the trade deadline, just like they said, by the Mavericks and Spurs. The Spurs were a good fucking team at that point, and the Mavs weren't bad either. They were both like heavy favorites in the West there. And Sprewell failed to respond to their offers. Didn't even say no. Didn't even fucking bother to respond to them and remained as a free agent. Also, the Lakers tried to contact him and couldn't get a hold of him and didn't want to go there either.
Boy, is he dumb.
So dumb. Could have went and just played with Shaq and Kobe and just won championship. Go get a goddamn ring. Stupid. So August 30th, 2006, speaking of stupid, he's on a boat here. He's on the yacht, which is always a bad. Whenever he's on the yacht, it's not good.
Oh, boy.
Milwaukee police are investigating a claim by a 21-year-old female that claims she and Sprewell were having consensual sex aboard his yacht when Sprewell began to strangle her.
Oh, boy.
Police observed red marks on her neck, and they were investigating the allegation and searched Sprewell's yacht for evidence. They said that police said Sprewell voluntarily appeared at the police station with his attorneys, gave police permission to search his boat, and they declined to say if Sprewell was going to be a suspect in the assault. That more on that in a moment.
Okay.
Also that summer, 2006, on the boat, more boat news.
Yeah.
This is the most yacht news we've ever had from Crime and Sports. If we had a yachting guy, like one of those America's Cup guys, there'd be less shit happening on a yacht than happens in this story. He has to have his boat freed by fishermen after he runs it aground near Atwater Beach, just north of Milwaukee. So
I am the captain now.
Yes, I think it ran and his captain hat fell off, and he was like, "Shit!" He spilled his drink.
At this point, a Somali boat pirate's a better captain than he is.
They're way better. They're not running aground everywhere. So he ran aground. He refused to pay a company that does that shit to tow it out. He just left it there. He refused to pay until finally local fishermen on tugboats had to do it because it was just in their way.
Wow.
So it was such an obstruction for so long. They were like, "Fine, we'll fucking tow this thing out ourselves and just let it fucking drift off."
And they just let it drift?
So let it park there or whatever the fuck they do here. So pretty goddamn crazy here. Now on September 6th, the police publicly say they declined to press charges for the assault on Sprewell, and they say that they think the woman made the whole thing up. Sprewell, they not the consensual sex part, but the strangling part. Right. She was like, "Hey, he strangles. Right. What the hell?" Sprewell also seeks a restraining order along with other civil remedies against the accuser. Okay. I guess she got a little pushy and aggressive with him on trying to collect money. Yeah. Basically, I think she was trying to say, "I'll drop the whole thing if you give me $5 million."
Oh, what an asshole!
They basically said, "We can't tell you the details, but here's the gist.
This is what it sounds.
This is what it sounds like." I don't know if that's true or not. Right. That's so don't sue us for slander, as we'll find out. You can't. Never mind. So December 2006, he's having a weird fucking year. This guy needs something to take his energy away. Yeah. There's a reason why he plays 40 minutes a game. He's got a lot of fucking energy. His longtime girlfriend, Candace Cabell, the same one that he got with in 1990 in college, he's still with her. She obtained a restraining order against him. But didn't have it served to him yet. And apparently he shows up and attacks her.
Oh no.
He stormed into the house from police reports, shoved Candace into a bedroom, smashed her finger as he ripped a cell phone out of her hand and tried to call for help. And he slapped her and then allegedly dragged her down a flight of stairs by her feet.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is dangerous, and shoved her out of the door.
This is a lot of illegal activity.
Yeah, he broke in. I can't do that. Stormed in, beat her up, slapped her around. Also, while she's trying to call for help, took the phone away. That's a separate charge. Dragged her down the stairs by her feet, which is
so fucking scary.
That's horrible. And then threw her out of the house and closed the door. He just ejected her from the fucking house like a bouncer. Which, by the way, stay tuned. So,
God damn it, Latrell.
He does all of this, and then he locks himself inside the house. This is in Westchester. It's in Purchase, New York, okay? Locks himself inside the mansion, and obviously she has police called, and police come, and basically has a standoff in his house for an hour and a half with the police. It's a very weird standoff. It's super strange. He would poke his head out the front window of the second story there every once in a while to shout shit at the officers and his girlfriend. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, motherfuckers, and then pop his head back in the house. An officer said, quote, he was acting crazy. The man just wouldn't come out of the house. Cops tried to negotiate with him for an hour and a half, but all he would do was shout from the window that he didn't do anything to Candace. That's all he would say. They said during the whole hour and a half, many verbal requests were made to Mr. Sprewell to cooperate with the investigation and come down and open the door to let us in. Mr. Sprewell responded to those requests by saying that he would not let us in unless we had a warrant. So during the standoff, he would use his kids. He would parade them in front of the windows to say, look, they're not fucked up. They're fine. And then like shove them aside. Like he'd take, come on, kids. We're going to show the cops you're not hurt. Look at the kids. They're fine. Go on, kids.
They're good.
They're not good, right. I'm sure. Yeah. Eventually, this is brilliant. Candace Cabell asked him to at least give her purse. Yeah. Just at least give me my purse. So they wait a couple minutes, and then the front door opens and a purse comes out, and he closes it again. He put it on the front stoop and closed the door.
Oh, man.
So she goes into the purse, gets her keys out, opens it, and lets the cops in. And that's the end of the standoff. She literally picked it up, went in, unlocked it, and goes, go on, guys.
Go ahead,
there you go.
Go get him.
He was like, keys.
Damn it.
Fuck. Shit. Messed it up. So, January 29th, 2007, this is the same woman, Candace here, this is a few weeks later, is suing Latrell Sprewell for $200 million.
He didn't make that much.
That's a lot.
He can't pay that.
That's, I would say not. She alleges Sprewell broke their long-term cohabitation deal and roughed her up, obviously, in that incident. She brought the lawsuit in a U.S. District Court in Manhattan, saying that he ended the arrangement that developed after they met in 1989 when they were at the University of Alabama. She says that on September 8th of this year, which is his birthday, by the way, he broke his promise to share his life and fortune with Cabell. He entered the home and announced that they, quote, needed to end this fake relationship, is what he said. They have 4 kids. That's a pretty real. That's real. Yeah. That's fucking real. You can call it whatever you want.
That's as relationship as it gets.
If you live with a woman and you have 4 kids, that's a relationship. Right. That's real. So, Sprewell, I guess, started giving Candace less money than usual for household expenses for their children at this point, ages 3, 7, 8, and 11.
Oh, my God.
And made him scarce when she tried to find him, is what the lawsuit says. They also say that Cabell is also listed as a legal guardian for his 16-year-old for Aquila. Yeah. Also, so during the lawsuit here, they brought apparently there was the whole thing. She says that he told her that she had, quote, nothing to worry about, and that she owned everything he owned. That's what he told her. But then they weren't married, so
she didn't own anything.
But he didn't marry her. He didn't put her name also on that home that he bought for $3 million in Purchase, New York. He never put her name on it too. It's just his name on it. She says she gave up a $25,000 job a year job at a hospital to have their first child in 1995, and said at the lawsuit that there was rarely less than $100,000 in the couple's joint bank account.
Okay, but listen, you gave up a $25,000 job. You weren't
in 95.
Yeah, but you weren't going to make $200 million. No. You can't sue for that shit.
$200 million that's bananas. That's what I mean. 17%, $200 million. They're all
stupid.
Yeah. She said that also Sprewell hired a babysitter and a house cleaner, bought Cabell new cars, and registered Cabell as his wife with the National Basketball Association so she could receive health insurance. Okay. So he, for all intents and purposes, set her up as his wife, and then just was like, fuck it, you got to leave. Right. So she was like, I don't think so.
But they weren't married.
Right. So Sprewell, I guess the couple agreed when he was traded from the Knicks to the Timberwolves. They said that she would stay with the children in New York because they had a big house there, and Sprewell, and that's when Sprewell lived on his yacht. So that's when that happened. So,
boats and hoes.
Yes, boats and hoes. So February 24th, 2017, he is banned from seeing his kids. Because of the accusation of assault on their mother, he may only speak to his children by phone, email, or text message. A judge said here it's an order of protection because it was endangering the welfare of a child was in the charges because they were in the house when all this was going on. So it's obstructing governmental. He's charged with third-degree assault, obstructing governmental administration. That's one way to put it, and 5 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. Okay, this is 2007's a bad year.
It sounds like it.
It's getting worse. June of 2007, his lawsuit gets thrown out against the New York Post. A judge rules that he cannot proceed with the libel lawsuit. A panel of judges from a state appeals court granted summary judgment in favor of the New York Post. Sprewell sued the paper, like we said, and basically the reporter said that he received the information contained in his articles from confidential sources. He refused to reveal the source's identity, citing his promise of confidentiality and the New York State Reporter Shield statute, which gives reporters an absolute right to protect their sources' identities. Because Sprewell's a public figure, he had to prove that Berman wrote false and defamatory statements about him with actual malice.
Right.
Instead of just accident.
Right.
Because information's out there. You come across bad information. You didn't do it on purpose. Yeah. Right. So he says that that has to be knowledge that the statements made are false or reckless and a disregard for whether they are false. Okay. That's why you pissy athletes can't sue us ever. That's the reason why. Because
we take information from the internet, from all these sources.
We take it from news sources, from court documents. I don't just make it up whole cloth. Right. So it's out there. So I have a reasonable expectation that it may be true. Right. So that's why I can say it and Jimmie can say it and you can't say shit the fuck about it. And then we can make fun of you as much as we want because that's satire, dickhead.
Damn right.
So enjoy, Latrell, even though I do like you.
Yeah,
Especially, I don't like you after you dragged your wife down the steps by her feet. That was really shitty.
That's maybe the only move that I really don't like even a little bit.
Yeah, the choking the girl was proved to be not true. Yeah. So that's fine.
Also, some chicks did that.
Yeah. Well, so apparently she said it was not,
but she made it
still.
Up. Right.
It ended up she made it up anyway. So the appeals court held that regardless of the source's credibility, Sprewell had, quote, not presented any evidence to raise a triable issue of fact concerning actual malice, let alone sufficient evidence to establish actual malice made clear by convincing evidence. So eat dicks, hit the road. Yeah. Jack is what they basically tell him. Hit the road, Latrell.
Right.
So about a month later, federal marshals seize his yacht. They seize his yacht in Manitowoc, up where Stephen Avery is there, the Making a Murder area.
Those are my sisters. The judge that presided over that case married my older sister. Not like married her, like will you be my wife? Like presided over the wedding.
Officiated the wedding. Okay, that's funny. So this is about 80 miles north of Milwaukee. Sprewell's firm, LSF Marine Holdings, Jesus Christ, hadn't made its $10,322 monthly payments. He was paying over $10,000 a month for a yacht.
Holy shit.
Holy fuck. On a time or managed the necessary, and he also didn't manage the necessary insurance on the boat. The bank said he bought the yacht built by Italian firm Azimut Beniti in 2003 there. So now, holy shit. He's been...
That is so much boat.
He's had such a bad fucking year. Yeah. It's just too much boat.
It's a lot.
He's had his yacht taken. He's had fucking... He can't see his kids. He's been... Jesus, you don't even have your yacht to retreat to at this point. He's got a house in Milwaukee he goes to, and that's the only place he can go. If the only place you can go is Milwaukee, sad times. Yeah. It's fucking sad times.
Manitowoc.
He's got no friends, nothing at this point, too. I mean, his wife, this one's suing him, and this one's suing him also, and they all want money from him. I mean, he has his only way to get any control of his life, because he does this sometimes. Like, he just said, I need to get some control and feel like I'm in charge. I need to redecorate my house. So he calls somebody up and they come and knock on the door. And of course, it's Dexter Manley, interior decorator from New York City. And he says... How is it you come to arrive here? What is wrong? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're buying boats, big boats. People are throwing up. You're taking swings at them. You're suing. You, sir, you're white trash. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Indeed.
This is what white trash does. They get a boat and they go out on the lake and they get shit-faced drunk and they fight each other. That's what you're doing. I don't care if it's a 70-foot yacht or a 7-foot dinghy. You're fucking it up. That's all I'm going to say. You fucked everything up. $21 million. Listen, let me tell you what I do for $21 million, mister. It's a lot. Let's just say that. And it's really endless. It's boundless. I'm sorry. You're white trash. I have to go. This is ridiculous. I'm not touching your house. Trashy. Goodbye. Poof. And in a puff of purple glitter and feathered boas, he is gone.
Yeah.
And Latrell is fucking real confused. He tried to choke him, but he poofed.
Yeah.
That's it. He tried to choke him and he was gone. He was like, damn it. Fuck, I can't choke away all my problems.
He's left standing there with a feather boa between his hands.
Yeah, just trying to choke his problems away. You can't choke away all your problems,
No,
everybody.
can't.
There's a lesson to be learned here. February 1st.
Although you can choke everything else away.
You can choke a lot away. Yeah, definitely. Now, February 1st, 2008, this is okay here. This is good for Sprewell.
Yeah.
Prosecutors in New York agreed to drop the assault charge against him with his girlfriend there. Prosecutors said that the charges will be dismissed in a year if he stays out of trouble. Okay. So they give him one of those delayed deals where don't fuck up for a year and we'll dismiss it. Now, I don't know if there was that was also based on a settlement with her or how that worked. Okay. Now, February 7th, 2008, his yacht is... Jesus Christ, his yacht is auctioned off.
Yeah.
It's sold at public auction for $856,000.
That's a good deal.
Not too shabby. He owed $1.5 million on it, though, so he's got to make up a little bit of difference.
$700,000.
Yeah, and from what he paid, he owes about $500,000 on it still. They also, the company that he owed said in court filings that it plans to go after the rest.
Okay.
So they want Latrell's money.
Yep.
Stand in fucking line, guys, because April of 2008, he's got a house in foreclosure.
The market didn't treat him well?
No, apparently not. This is a bad time for the market, but he should have had a little put aside for this, I would say, out of $97 million.
Right.
Put a couple million aside. Stuff it in a pillowcase somewhere. Put it in your closet.
Somewhere.
Between September 2007 and January 2008, he failed to make his mortgage payments on this home of $2,593 per month.
$2,500?
He must have put a pretty good sized fucking down payment on that thing. Well, I mean, the house is, well, we'll talk about it here. Citizens Bank filed a foreclosure suit for the $405,000 home that he bought in 1994.
Okay.
So this is his first, it's not a mansion.
No.
It's just a nice house.
$400,000.
Yeah, it's a good house. It's a nice house. The bank said Sprewell owed $295,138 in outstanding payments plus interest. Why wouldn't you pay that off?
Why don't you own that?
Why wouldn't you pay that off?
Why do you still have a payment?
When you're making $11 million a year, go, you know what? I'm going to drop fucking $300,000 on this house.
Go ahead and own this.
Just get it off my books. Not have to fucking worry about it.
Property taxes every year and that's it.
Absolutely. May 20th, 2009, his father dies.
Oh, no.
His father is, according to a medical examiner's report, he was going northbound on North Granville Road and on a motorcycle when a southbound Chevy Suburban turned left in front of the motorcycle, and he struck the SUV. He was not wearing a helmet.
Oh, no.
And was pronounced pudding at the scene, I assume. Was pronounced tapioca pudding dripping from a grill of a Chevy Suburban at the scene.
That was LaFonda?
That was Latasca Fields. God damn it. Bad motherfucker. So yeah, Fields is dead here. His daughter, do you think Latrell, Poinciana Sprewell?
No.
Poinciana.
No.
Poinciana?
No.
What the fuck is that?
Why did he do that to her?
Poinciana Sprewell here, who's Fields' daughter and Sprewell's half-sister, at least, I believe. Oh, Poinciana Sprewell, so it's the other one. So it's his full sister. She said, quote, he loved his motorcycle and he took pride in it. And he was very careful in riding his bike. He was except he didn't wear a fucking helmet.
Right.
He was very loving and kind and will be greatly missed by all of his family and friends. Now, July 2000. 2009, the purchased New York home that he had a standoff in, what goes into foreclosure status.
Jesus.
It was purchased in 2000 for $2.3 million, and it's now, when it's foreclosed on in 2009, on the market for $1.5 million. It was assessed in 2008 at $3.5 million.
In a year, it lost half.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened to that shit.
Holy shit.
That was a big drop off.
Yeah, it was.
3.32 acres of flat usable land, and it's a 9,200 square foot house, 6 bedrooms, 10 baths, and 2 half baths.
I think his boat was too much.
No shit. Jesus, at least you're living in that house.
It's a lot of house.
It's a lot of house. It's too much house.
Too much house.
They said it's granite countertops, 4 fireplaces, a sauna / steam room, an attic to finished basement, and of course, a basketball court.
Of course.
Gotta have that. 2010, there's a story from a bar worker that says that they ran into Sprewell in a bar at this time. It was a bouncer. So it just says that he'd come in, and this was like a common thing. Quote, this is great. Quote, Latrell came sauntering up with 3 beat-up 40-something-year-old women. It was a sight to behold. He still lives and practically relies on his being recognized and having drinks bought for him. So whenever a drunk college kid would come up to him, he would only accept a free drink if the guy bought the 3 hogs a drink as well.
Wow.
He's got a nice little racket going on.
What?
So that's what he said. So
that's how he's surviving?
This bouncer's a dick, first of all. But besides his dickish language here, that's apparently he'd go out with 3 ladies and just be like, hey, on me.
You can hang with a dude.
Not on me.
As long as you buy 4 extra drinks.
Hey, buy it for my lady friends. And so, yeah, hell of a racket, he says, going on. 2011, Wisconsin lists its top tax deadbeats, with Latrell high on the list, owing $3.5 million in back state taxes. Taxes. State taxes, mind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, federal, he'd have been in prison already, but state, they'll fucking just, put it on TV that you owe money.
Right.
So December 31st, 2012, New Year's Eve, he is arrested for disorderly conduct at 4 p.m. on New Year's Eve.
What?
He didn't even get to see the ball drop.
He didn't even get to see the sun drop.
It's ridiculous. No, it's still light out. Even in December in Milwaukee, which is like, 2 hours of light a day, it peeks out from behind the clouds and goes back in when it sees it's over Milwaukee.
It's still light out, and he's arrested already.
It goes, ew, Milwaukee, never mind, and it runs back into the clouds. Jesus Christ. So the police received repeated complaints about loud music coming from his house on East Pleasant Street. According to this here, police wouldn't release a lot of the details here, but according to the report, they received 2 complaints within 1 hour Monday afternoon and had received several complaints of loud music in recent months from here. A neighbor told Fox 6 News, quote, every time he was home, it seemed like the music was really loud. It did actually rattle his windows sometimes. He just took advantage of having a house where he could play loud music all the time, regardless of the 9 units that are facing him.
Holy shit.
So
he's staying in a place that has.
Want to talk about the place?
Yeah.
Because I know all about the place.
Oh, God.
Sprewell rents this place.
Yeah.
The owner of the place paid $385,000 for it in 2005 when the market was high.
Yeah.
It's now valued at that time at $307,000. And the taxes were all paid up to date by this person. It's a duplex converted into a single family home, 2,044 square feet, including 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a fireplace, and a detached garage in the back, which Sprewell parks his SUV in front of rather than inside.
How many basketball courts does it have?
0.
One
I believe there's a park down the street.
Yeah.
So with one of those chain nets if he wants to get in there and be careful not to hurt his hands on that thing. So, that's where he's at there.
Ouch.
Now, August 2014, he's said to be bouncing at a bar called Mikey's in Wisconsin on weekdays.
On weekdays.
On weekdays.
He's working a Monday through Friday.
His gig is now we don't know this for a fact. He didn't say this, but several people posted online, hey, I go to Mikey's and Latrell Sprewell's a fucking bouncer on weeknights. This is weird. Like he's checking people's IDs with his cornrows and shit. It's super fucked. This is just odd. What the fuck is going on? So, I mean, I don't give a fuck if the person, obviously if they're a murderer or like a child rapist or something, you want someone to lose, but someone makes $97 million, pulls himself up from shit. You don't want to see this happen to them. You feel bad for them. I feel bad for a lot of people, but not nearly, Jimmy. as bad
fucking way
as I feel for Latrell Sprewell. Now, I don't know if this is him or not, but I don't think it is, because I'll tell you why in a second here. This is on LinkedIn. Latrell Sprewell, his profile says he is self-employed in New York, in the entertainment industry, and lists his work experience as a, quote, writer. I have not known Latrell Sprewell to write shit.
No.
So I'm assuming that is not him.
It's somebody that their dad was a fan.
Some poor bastard named Latrell Sprewell.
Jesus Christ. Is that the only one?
That's it. That's the only Latrell Sprewell I could find. There might be more, but they're not online. They're hiding if they are. 2016, he joins Twitter. Okay. Because what the fuck? Yeah. Why not? And immediately, the first day he joins, one of the first things he does is announce his support for Donald Trump for president.
No
I
way.
Swear to God.
Shut your mouth.
I swear to God.
The fuck?
He tweets fucking, I love Donald, my kind of guy, him for president.
Christ.
So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What is going on here? So
how much does he get barraged with jokes?
Jesus, I know. That's Jesus Christ.
You don't want to be on Twitter, Latrell.
No, he does not need to be on Twitter.
What is it, Latrell Sprewell 3 or something?
We'll get to it at the end. No, it was 15 and then 8 on the next. But we'll get to it. So 2016, he's on a Priceline commercial, Priceline.com commercial. Do you remember seeing this?
No.
It's a father books a hotel in San Antonio so he can take his daughter to a Spurs game. While he's there, they get to meet David Robinson, this legendary Spurs. And David Robinson is considered the most upstanding NBA player ever. He's a Naval Academy graduate. Right. He's like the most best posture, and
his arms were amazing.
Yeah.
God, Jesus, his arms.
No one has a bad word to say about David Robinson. And Robinson gives her advice that the key to success is, quote, hard work and a great attitude. Then the scene shifts to what would have happened if they didn't take the trip. Right. And it is they watch the same game at a restaurant, and Latrell Sprewell's there. And he tells the little girl, Sprewell turns to the little girl. I gotta give him this. He's got a sense of humor. Yeah. Sprewell turns to the little girl and says, quote, success is just failure that hasn't happened yet. And then he eats one of her French fries, which is fucking hilarious. That's objectively hilarious. I'm sorry. That's goddamn funny.
It's failure that hasn't happened yet.
And then eats her French fry.
Yeah.
Give me that, little girl.
Because I'm starving.
I'm starving. Yeah, I got problems. Somebody sued me for $200 million. You know what that's like? You know how many houses I've lost? Does a boat count as a house? Because
a woman sued me for twice the money I ever made.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. That'd be like if someone sued me for $40,000. I don't know. So, 2016, December of 2016, an Atlanta broker is sentenced to 5 years in prison for defrauding investors of almost $7 million.
Yes.
Federal prosecutor said Robert Gist, his old agent and guy that he invested money with, mailed false account statements to his clients to put on a facade that he was investing conservatively across their portfolios. More than 30 clients invested more than $6.8 million with him on this particular charge. His imprisonment will be followed by 3 years of supervised release. He's also ordered to pay $6.8 million in restitution. And his former sports agent linked to Latrell Sprewell, he was Latrell Sprewell's from 97 on. So he was his agent.
So he bulked him out of
money,
too.
So you know he fucking stole money. You know he got him to invest in bullshit.
Fucking jerk off.
You know he had him investing in bullshit.
What an asshole.
What a fucking... That happens to so many guys. Somebody stole... my friend Rod, somebody stole a bunch of his fucking money too. A financial advisor stole millions of dollars. They had to sue them to recoup it. It's fucking insane. Yeah, the guy blamed it on 9/11. He goes, line 9/11 and tanked the economy. They were like, no. And they found out that he was... It's crazy. So, February 12th, 2017, this is 2 days after the Knicks banned Charles Oakley from the building.
Yeah.
Remember Charles Oakley? We'll do a Charles Oakley episode.
Right?
Anthony Mason
died.
Charles Oakley's still out there.
Yeah.
This was last year. So we'll do an Oakley episode too, because he's amazing.
He's a mess.
Jesus.
Boy, is he a mess.
So 2 days after they kick one of the most popular Knicks ever out of Madison Square Garden forever, which the fans don't like, James Dolan, the team owner, who's a fucking twat asshole douchebag who's run the franchise into the fucking ground. Yeah. You asshole. He's the Cablevision twat too. Fuck you. Fuck your shitty cable. Sell the team. Yeah. I tell you, from everyone in the state of New York and the surrounding areas, sell the fucking Knicks, you cunt. Thank you. Jesus Christ. So... Jolin invites Sprewell to a game and sits courtside with him there.
I remember this too.
Yeah,
this was just 2 years ago?
This was last year.
Last year.
2 years. Yeah. 2 years from a month from now. Yeah, so 23 months ago. Trying to get himself in the good graces. Like, I brought a guy back you guys liked. Remember him?
Crazy fuck.
Remember him? He needs a house. He needs a place to stay.
He's here for the free pretzels at halftime.
He's here for the hotel room we get him when he comes into town. Jesus Christ. We get him a West and he's thrilled. So they asked Sprewell and he says, quote, when I left, I assume the Knicks he's talking about, I was not happy. New York is like a second home for me. I love the fans here. The fans embraced me. There's no place like the Garden to play in. I was very disappointed being traded, but we had fun in Minnesota. I'm just happy to be back now. It was very much appreciated. And the New York Post reports that Sprewell had met with team representatives about returning for a game in New York when the Knicks visited the Bucks earlier in the season. So he went over there to talk to him because he lives in Milwaukee and can't afford airfare.
Right.
So and he's got to work on Tuesday.
It was convenient.
That's all it is. Also, that night, Sprewell received a video tribute. Other former Knicks attending the game also made it into the board, like Bernard King, who was nasty as fuck, and we've talked about.
Bad man.
And, buying coke in a bad neighborhood in a Corvette at 2 a.m.
Falling asleep.
Kenny Walker, who had one of the best high-top fades in the history of basketball.
I remember him.
He had his hair was like kid and play level height. Like, it was fucking impressive, and he wore like gold chains during the dunk contest.
No.
I fucking loved him when I was 11, though. I thought he was cool as shit. Gerald Wilkins and Bill Bradley also get honored that night. February 13th, 2007, he announces he's going to sign with Ice Cube's 3-on-3 league.
2017?
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Did I say 2007?
So he's in that shit now?
Well, we'll talk about it. Basically, they announced that day that Sprewell, J.R. Ryder, it's like a fucking Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, Earl Boykins, and Brian Cook were the latest people to be drafted or to be signed, and then they're going to go into a player draft pool to be drafted here. Also already signed is Kenny Anderson, Smush Parker, who should have still been playing in the fucking league when this was going on if he wasn't useless. Jamario Moon, who I believe is an ASU player.
I don't know.
Ruben Patterson, another fucking one of our alum. That's where we found out about this league, I believe. And Eton Thomas. And they said they'll have an April draft, or they'll have a combine then, and then they'll have a draft. May 1st, 2017, Sprewell is ruled ineligible for the draft because he didn't complete any of the necessary medical or other documentation
why would
in time.
he do that?
Because he's a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ, man. Well, you know why? He's busy.
Yeah.
Because February 17th, 2018, he's signing autographs at the Saratoga Stadium Sports Bar in New York.
Eesh.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, he said, quote, well, it's definitely an appreciation for all the hard work I did put in when I was here with the Knicks. And like I said, out of all the other teams I played for, I had a lot of fun, but the New York fan base is like no other. I don't think there's another team in the NBA that has a fan base quite like the Knicks do. Yeah, because we won't fucking go away no matter how much you try to drive us from the fucking building.
And there's millions and millions of people there. That's why.
The other thing.
They
are
the
passionate.
Biggest market in the fucking country.
We look for shit to hate. We're almost as happy with a terrible team as a good one, because then we can fucking complain about it and say what's wrong with every one of these assholes.
Loudly.
Rather than, we don't want mediocrity. That's what we don't like. Can't get enough of Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, boy.
I don't know how, because we just got an ass full of him. How long that took to put together. You can go to Amazon.com, get a Latrell Sprewell New York Knicks autographed 8x10 photo.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking cool. I actually
awesome.
kind of want it. $49.99 plus $4.99 shipping and handling. Also, and this is cool as fucking shit, an NBA, it's like a starting lineup figure, but one of the ones where it's like they have a little block of floor, and it's got a little
McFadden?
kind of like a McFarlane, like one of those. One of those. He's dunking. It's pretty goddamn cool. He's got a white Knicks jersey on here. That is $8.99 plus $4.99.
That's a
shipping.
deal.
That's a fucking deal. I don't know why I didn't buy it here. Or hey, follow him on Twitter at Sprewell_15. He's got a fucking underscore in his name.
Put his number in there.
Or you can follow his daughter, who's a rapper named Busy Monroe right now. And I saw her video, and I couldn't watch much of it. I can't watch teen girls rap. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
There's nothing left on this but gristle and fat.
That's it. And then smile. Yeah, we have reached the gristle and fat stage of Latrell Sprewell. That is Latrell Sprewell. I don't know how there could be any more.
Wow.
That is a goddamn crazy life that man has led. Talk about an up and down.
That's a fucking far fall down, though.
To bouncing on the weekdays from $100 million.
Probably for a Greyhound bus ride back.
Yeah, who the hell knows? They're probably for a bar tab whenever he's in town. I don't know what the hell it is. So.
And where's he living now? In
Milwaukee. Still Milwaukee. That's his hometown.
Bummer,
that's depressing. His whole life is goddamn depressing at this point. But I don't know. He's surviving.
What could have been, sir?
A lot. So what could have been if you just saved some of your money? You'd just be happy right now. But that's Latrell Sprewell, and that's Crime in Sports. If you like it, you know what you can do about it? You can go on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell you want to call it, and give us 5 stars, damn it. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. It does not matter. It's not for our ego. It is strictly to go up the charts. It helps us on the business end. Also, if you want to help us out a little more, or you want some information and help yourself out, honestly, you can go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all things crime and sports and small town murder related, all your merchandise, all of your information, tickets to upcoming live shows such as January 25th at the Neptune in Seattle, where we'll be there with Small Town Murder, and also February 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida at the West Palm Improv, and also Seattle, guys. If you're in Portland, we're not going to do the same. We have whole new episodes for these live shows, so don't worry about that. It'll be a different show if you want to come up there and see us, or come over from wherever the fuck you are. Get out of Idaho for a minute. I don't know. Some shit like that. Do all of that. Buy those tickets. Get all your merchandise there. Everything that you need like that. You can also find links to follow us. Follow us on social media. Very easy to do that. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter, Crime and Sports on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram, like that. And now we have to talk about the list of the most amazing people in the world who have done a wonderful thing. They've gone to patreon.com/crimeandsports, and they've made a donation, or they've gone to PayPal and used our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, and they've made a donation there. Maybe they got to those links through our website where those links are available. I'm not sure, but these people are amazing, and they've done that. Jimmie, you know what? Repossess these people like a 70-foot yacht.
I'm going to jam these down your throat until you choke.
Choke me, Jimmie. Choke me with names.
This week's executive producers are Melissa Chai, Peter Blime, or Bliem, Candace Kennedy, and Christiane Castaldi. Thank you guys.
Thank you
so much for everything. For us. That was really nice of you.
Every week, you guys are so nice to us. Thank you.
Every week, it's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Lindsay Carmoni, Crystal Lamb, writing entrepreneur, Kathleen Schaefer, Brendan Abels, Nicholas Merricks, Jason Orzachowski, yes, nice. Ashley Vio, Gabriel Romo Delgadillo, Andrea Kroc, like the pot, Jesse Hartman, Laura Sauter, May Lynn, Matt Dietrich, Rebecca Bleckman or Bleishman, Thomas Blair Luby, eBay Sales, Mariah Minhier, Heather Ribeiro? Yes, I think I nailed that. I think so. Thomas Stevens, Lindsay Rustan, Nathan Segalius, Jessica Dugan, Kelly Higby, Courtney Crislet, or Crisket. I think that's an L. Chislett. Gianna XL, Sarah Catherine Bigham, Tamsin Hunter, James Ayers. No, it's Hires. Yeah.
There you go.
That's Hires. Bethany Zamke. Now I have the hiccups. Tabitha Lilly, Jessamy Hewlings, Colby Moore, Chelsea Morgan, Under the Sea Fabrics, Stephen Dean, Peyton Meadows, Rebecca Batty, Raymond Gonzalez, Julia Lyons, Gary Howard, Sarah Amaya, Zach Zientek.
Did Gary Howard send us the Jim Cornette cards, by the way? Thank you. Those are cool as shit. We appreciate that. Thank
Gary's
you.
The shit.
Thanks, Gary.
Tracy, Runninger.
Hey.
Caitlin Martindale, Rachel Fouch, Ryan Shank, Janae Content, thank you, Robert Smalley, Ann Ferry, Tara Jenkins, Sandy Handjob. She got me again. I wrote it and I was like, that's good. That's very good. And then I just
got cruising on the reading.
Blew through it. Matthew.
You're doing a little too well on those names. That's why.
Matthew Kerr, Owen Connolly, Naima Shea, Sylvia Soulier, Lauren Demarath, Hunter Perry, Janice Hill, John Codling, Heather Norton, Chrissy Blanche, Justin Miller, Judy Wilson, Melissa Marotz, Lisa Anderson, and Thomas Smith. You guys, we can't do it without you, and every week you guys fucking make it for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we have just found, by the way, a piece of information, quickly, an update on Latrell Sprewell already. He has changed his Twitter handle, and what is it now, Jimmy?
It is now at Balling Spree 08.
Balling Spree 08. Is he verified? Is that definitely him?
He definitely is verified.
How many followers does he have?
He has 1,400 followers.
That's it?
That's it.
I have more than 10 times as many followers as Latrell. Get your shit together, Latrell.
He's only following one person. Who is it? Is it Donald? No, it's Larry Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Another guy
He's following Grandmama.
He's
That's the weirdest shit ever.
Who is not verified and has 12,000 followers. And
what the hell is going on, NBA?
He doesn't want to get verified because he owes a shitload of money.
That's true. He's like, hey, it ain't me. It ain't me, goddammit. Well, Jimmy,
what if it's going to be at the Fisk? Oh no, some center signing autographs, probably to not pay child support.
Probably, yeah. No, he's not putting his autograph on a check. Is the problem there?
That's all he's following.
Jesus Christ, that's so weird. Well,
bizarre man.
What if one of these people wanted to follow you and make you their one person they follow? How can they do that?
You can follow me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Thank you guys for everything. This has been a really fun week. You guys are fucking hysterical.
Definitely.
What about you? What can they tell you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or copy and paste my last name from the show description. Don't be a hero and try to spell it. Just copy and paste it. Follow us there. Keep coming back every damn week, and we're very excited. Also, thank you to everybody for doing that survey. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really cool of you guys to do that. That helps us out a lot and shows that we're not schmucks and that people will do things to support us, like take 10 seconds to do a survey. Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that. And we appreciate everything you do for us. God damn it, every week. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.